Hello, everyone, and welcome to Conspiracy Outpost. I'm Joseph.
I'm Casey.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Matt.
You're fucking stupid, Matthew. That's why you dumb little smile you made. All right, today we are talking about the simulation theory.
Yeah, I had it a little mixed up because I thought we were talking about stimulation, so I did all my research on stimulating people.
Which is
And
also good research.
I learned a lot about milking prostates, which is going to be not helpful at all.
Fuck. Alrighty.
All right,
All right, so they're basically from the research that I compiled, there are two types of theories for the simulation. One of them is our bodies exist outside the simulation in some sort of preservation, kind of like the Matrix,
Mm-hmm.
Or there's
In the vat.
everyone and everything exists only in the simulation.
That one seems weird to grasp.
Yes.
That one is
Those are
just
the- Those are the two that I got from this documentary.
let's
reading.
talk about
I
that
didn't,
first
I didn't
one
hear
there.
anything you just said. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, just that last little
Pretty much, he was
mumbling,
saying
nothing.
there's two schools of thought on simulation. The one where there's a thing outside the simulation, like the Matrix, and one where we only live in the simulation.
So like with the okay, so let me expand on that one. That's just
With
kind of I just kind of made it like a little cliff note. So everything
Yeah.
exists in the simulation. So there's one base
Like
reality.
AI.
Yeah, so there's there's one base reality that's real, right? And that's that's everything is how it's supposed to be. And then that reality gets
Are you an
advanced enough-
NPC or are you a player?
Because that's what
basically.
I was thinking of. Is like we're NPCs.
Yeah, so like so the
I
So
don't
the way
think my
they
Christian
explained
Lord
it
and
is
Savior
there's a
would
base
appreciate
reality
that.
so say our reality is the base reality. Everything we see is fucking real. There's no simulation, right? And then a civilization gets advanced far enough and they create the simulation and then it goes down and then that civilization gets advanced enough and then blah, 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 continue and so on and so forth. So what they don't know is they say that we're in they think it's like a 50-50 chance that we're in a simulation, but they said they don't know if we're the base reality or if we're somewhere mixed in there or if we're at the tail end of it or what. They don't know.
It's like that Rick and Morty episode where he basically creates a simulation to basically power his vehicle.
Oh,
Yeah,
and
the
that guy
Teenyverse.
creates the Teenyverse, and that guy creates a simulation to power his shit, and it just it just keeps going further.
Sounds like
Why-
slavery.
I was like watching. They were saying, why do scientists still like mess with the idea when they said that it's 1 in a billionth chance that it's like real, like
Well,
that
no,
simulation.
There's a
theory
1
is
in a
real?
billion chance that we're the base reality.
Oh, okay.
There's a
yeah,
50-50 chance that we're in a simulation.
which the whole thing is like there's the Matrix scenario with literal like brain in the vat where we're just kind of hooked
Yeah.
up to some kind of machine that we're just our consciousness is into this game, or the fact that we are, or the other one which is we're NPCs and we only exist within this the confine of the simulation.
And a thing with the simulation, like with people like there's some people that say that we shouldn't do it, like test like to see if we are in a simulation or not, because they're afraid that if we become self-aware that whoever or whatever is controlling our simulation,
Hit the reset button.
yeah, they'll basically
it's-
unplug us
again,
and be
like-
oh, there you go.
Like,
Again,
they can
like-
reset these beer titties
Yeah.
if they want.
Again, like Rick and Morty, he said
Want
either
a
my
factory
brakes
reset?
lights will work or I'll destroy the microverse or whatever.
Oh yeah,
It's like they
Either-
only have
either
two
my car's
now.
first
Now that
or-
they know that it could be shut down, so they have no choice but to make the power.
Yes. And they basically said like, okay, so like like the Big Bang.
Mm-hmm.
So when you turn your computer on, there's nothing going on. And then you
Like
turn
a
on your
boot?
computer, bam, Big Bang happens, blah blah blah,
Dude, I don't like
And
Jim
then-
Parson. Let's not talk
And
about
then
that.
basically that's how our reality is. Like someone flipped on a computer, and we've already gone through our existence. Like we've already been there, done, and this is already like
Yeah.
like
I
this
was
is
watching Neil
like not
deGrasse Tyson.
current. Like well, it is current, but like in I don't know how to explain it. I'm not that fucking
Yeah,
smart.
you're talking about like time's already happened kind of thing.
Yeah, basically, like this is already our. We've already gone through this shit. I don't know.
Neil
Right.
deGrasse
I
Tyson was
think.
talking about that it was more likely that we were fucking. It was some snot nosed brat alien kid in his basement who decided to turn his little game on and create a whole world.
Oh my god.
That's it is. I was like, okay. And then the guy arguing with him was like, in order to create a whole universe or whatever, it would take a computer the size of a universe. And then he was like, I don't remember what he
Yeah,
said.
they
He
said
seemed a little
they
smart ass
basically
about it.
said we would have to have like a we'd have to harness the energy from our sun, so we'd have to build a mega structure around it to harness the energy for us to create a simulation like ours, like our world, basically.
Mm.
I don't remember what,
Yeah.
because I was spacing out. I was watching this other thing, but they were trying to say in order for it to work, there'd have to be only one, that there was only one form of life forms in the entire, like, infinite universe kind of thing. I don't know what they were going at with it.
Well, I could tell you like two things. It's like, so either we are the only, so there's those two theories. Either we're alone in the universe, or, there's what is it? Is it the Fermi paradox? What is it? Where there's either we're alone in the universe, or we're just the most advanced kind of thing right now. Either way, though, if we are, say, alone in the universe, it could be because we're in a simulation and that intelligent creatures didn't implement other simulations within, our simulation, because it'd be probably too much to render kind of thing.
Yeah, but that'll probably come out in like the next patch or two.
You guys think
Yeah.
that tweakers are
We're
just
still waiting on that
lagged
DLC.
NPCs?
Well,
You
they
think that
said
tweakers are just lagged NPCs, guys?
some people say that's why we can't. Matthew, what you're saying is why we can't travel the speed of light, because that's the limit
Exactly.
of simulation. So we can't go
Exactly.
faster than the simulate can simulate. The simulation can simulate. Sorry, that was a lot.
Yeah, and it's just too much to render, and it's like, we're still on their just on an older system
Well,
kind of thing.
if there is, then like let's just talk to our overlords or whatever the fuck you would call them. I wish that they would make my dick in 8-bit and not 4K, because it would be more handsome if it was 8-bit.
They also said we're
Yeah.
in a 2D universe that we get projected onto a 3D universe.
That would that's that yeah that's a weird
weird.
one. But yeah, another thing too is just like the fact that we create like video games and all kinds of crazy realistic things just kind of shows you that it's definitely possible.
Yeah,
And
so
NPC characters, they're alive to their algorithm. They do everything that their that their algorithm allows them to do. That's like their daily life. That's their they do it instinctively kind of thing. Ours is obviously more advanced kind of thing than just your regular NPC walking around Grand Theft Auto that walks to the coffee store and then walks to
Have
this
you ever
place
seen
kind of thing.
Have you guys seen Free Guy?
Yeah.
That movie?
Yeah, it's like Free Guy essentially.
Yeah. It's somebody, yeah.
I have not seen this movie.
It's basically sexy ass.
It's a Ryan Reynolds. Watch it.
Yeah.
Oh no, I
He,
didn't watch it then.
he's the only NPC that's actually fucking
Self-aware.
Conscious.
Yeah,
and gains free
self-aware.
will.
he has free will or whatever, and he constantly like evolves pretty much. Like he learns and everything.
A true form of artificial intelligence.
Yeah. And
Based
so
in
and
the video
everybody
game
everybody he like reacts with eventually becomes the same way, right? Isn't that how it goes?
Yeah, kind of. He kind of like unlocks their code.
He pretty much
allows them to start writing their own code.
Yeah, so what if Jesus was like that? He was the first self-aware one, and he just like slowly started
He's
touching
Morpheus.
everybody, and he was like,
Well,
"Hey guys, I
Jesus
can walk on
Neo.
water."
Neo's
I had the
Jesus.
first Grand Theft Auto codes, and I could walk on water, and I also had flying cars. What are cars? I mean chariots. You guys will learn about the other thing later. All right, my sons.
Yeah.
Turn
You know what
water
Phil
into
Jesus
wine.
took?
How'd you do that? I flipped a 0 into a 2. No big deal.
Oh yeah.
It's just funny. There was a doctor, Dr. Brian Whitworth. He's got a
That's a sexy ass
PhD.
last
You
name.
know, yeah, no.
It's got the word wit in
He
it.
looked at the facts between the world of physical, or the world to see if it was physical or if it was a simulation. And through analysis, he said the universe that we live in better fits as a simulation.
According to him.
Well, yeah.
But
He has a PhD, so
But-
he's smarter
what-
than I am.
like, what evidence though? Like, what evidence fits it?
That's what I was saying. It's like
Yeah,
people
there's-
just, again, like PhDs and shit. That's just saying that like because somebody else taught somebody else something, that automatically means they're smarter than everybody else. We live in a world where you can go on YouTube and fucking look up anything.
And
Like, I don't-
people
I don't
have
agree with-
PhDs that say they're are on the other side of the fence as well.
Yeah.
So
I'm not saying he's not
Um,
smart, but I'm just like I don't know. I think titles to shit are stupid.
Well, they said so. Elon Musk, he said, what was it,
He
like
said it's
40
an
years
Elon
ago?
Musk.
40 years ago, we had Pong. There's two rectangles and a dot. That was our video games, and now we can generate whole worlds inside video games with millions of players playing all at the same time. He says, give that the way that technology is advancing. He said, in the future, you're not going to be able to distinguish reality from video games. We're going to be that advanced.
Yeah, but
And it's
also
like, why-
Elon
why
Musk
would
is a
people
rogue
too?
NPC himself? Like he has the mannerisms of a fucking computer.
Yeah,
He
have you?
plays on-
the main thing
seen him in
too
an
is
interview?
it's
He
like
kinda just,
and
like,
and
super awkward.
Oh.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you guys see the ancient Greek philosophy stuff by chance? So the ancient Greeks, they linked things to like scene paintings and like drawings and shit, and it's supposed to resemble that the people who are in these drawings are like dreaming of a different reality, and in their dream or whatever, like they're portrayed as going mad and shit because they know that they're not in their actual reality; they're in a simulated reality, like a different reality. They didn't know what a simulation was back then, obviously, but
there's
Yeah,
like
I don't know.
like
I don't
there's
know if they fucking did.
there's like
Spoilers,
life
Doctor-
and paintings.
Spoilers to that Doctor Strange thing, I just want to say ahead of time. In that their whole thing about dreams is actually you in the eyes of somebody from an alternate reality, which is kind of a dope thing.
Yeah,
It's a
so,
real,
like,
it's a real actual theory.
so
of
Joseph,
things.
so on that, so there was this professor that studied simulation theory,
Snape?
and he said, I don't know his fucking name. I didn't catch it. It was
He
a
was in
late night
Slytherin for sure.
late night YouTube video. I watched this, but so with him, he said, this one night I had a dream that I was a
Oh,
butterfly, but I had no. He said, in my dream I had no idea who I was. Like in his actual life, he said I didn't know that. As far as I knew, in my dream I was a butterfly, and he said, and then I woke up. He said, but then when I woke up, I thought, am I actually a butterfly dreaming I'm a human, or am I a human dreaming I'm a butterfly?
He got out of that dream just like, oh,
This
fuck.
is so funny because right before I watched that movie, like the night
he
before,
he hit plenty of metamorphosis.
yeah, I was telling Anna about how when I was a kid I used to have these dreams where I was a pig person and I was always getting murdered.
What do you
and
mean
shit.
a dream? That's
So
your
could you
reality,
imagine the
Joseph.
fact that how many realities am I a pig, a humanoid pig getting murdered
9
and
out of
by
10.
boulders and fucking stretchers and shit? I would have to put in the dream I'd put my head between my legs and I'd have to like do a weird like fucking ritual and then I'd wake up in real life.
You'd
Like
do a
I think
weird
it's because my
ritual.
brain would know that, oh, this is how we get up. Like this is our safe
the
word.
fuck?
But it's like, how many realities would I be a pig person?
But
and I had
you're
to
being-
think about shit because my middle name's Andrew, so my name is probably Joseph Hamdrew in those fucking
God.
realities.
So you're
I was
sitting
telling
there
my Kenny about
dreaming
this
that
last
you're
night.
you're dreaming that you're a pig get murdered by boulders.
Yeah, multiple
So-
different things, but majority it was like an Indiana Jones thing.
Oh,
it was
see,
me
because
and
I was
another.
about to ask
It was me and
when
a
exactly
like a
Wile E.
half-sized
Coyote comes
pig.
in.
Yeah, well, I mean, fucking, but yeah, I don't know how many dreams I've had of that. It's like, how many realities am I a pig man? I mean, that's kind of cool, right? Nobody can brag about that. But
Jesus
Kenny told me
fuck.
because that's also the other thing. If you don't have dreams, then that means that you are one of a kind. There is no multiverse version of you, just like there is with America Chavez in those
Yeah.
in that movie. And Kenny was telling me it was like, which I feel pretty unique because I don't fucking have dreams. But I get also that they say that people that don't have dreams, it's not that they don't have dreams, it's that they can't remember that they're having dreams. Like they don't
Yeah.
remember them.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
That kind of went off from the that went more multiverse weird shit.
Little bit.
Doctor Strange in the multiverse in the multiverse of pigs.
So I do have a question for all you guys, actually.
Don't ask me. I won't tell.
Sure, you're pretty used to that by now.
Hell yeah. Well, like I told you guys, I've spent a lot of time looking into milking prostates because again, I thought we were talking about stimulation theories, like the best ways to get stimulated.
So this they say the simulation theory is being generated by a system that we are connected with through our minds as a collective group, right? So
We are Geth.
if that's true, do you think that if everybody in the world just all focused on one fucking thing, like all at the same time, do you think we can manifest some shit?
Yeah,
it can create something like that. 'Cause do you
so
think
why,
we'll have
I mean-
enough power
So
between
Neil-
I mean,
everybody?
there's a theory like that in Doctor Who. I mean, it was a terribly written thing, but where everybody was linked into a psychic network and they were able to give power to something by thinking one word. I'm being very vague because
It's like
I
it's
don't
like
know if you guys
Goku
watch
doing
it.
the spirit bomb.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess
Everybody share your energy.
it's like
No,
another
okay,
form of
whatever.
matter is
Well,
information.
Think about
Yeah.
okay, so
Like an
Neil
idea.
deGrasse Tyson said, "Why else would every time everything's going perfect in the world, something just fucking happens that spins everything out of control?" Like, so we're all fucking thinking collectively, like, "I want to fuck right now," and everybody in the world's thinking that at once. It's like, no, fuck it. They're starting to connect on a psychic level. Let's hit them with this COVID shit real quick.
What if
No,
Elon Musk's
as-
Neuralink would be like the answer to it? What if that's why he never
I
told
don't
nobody?
trust that shit.
If he hooks
But,
everyone up to the
What
same
if
server and we all
Neuralink
think the
takes you
same
down
idea?
into a deeper
What if we
state?
start getting hacked and we get pop-ups in our head? I really need this Viagra.
That'd be the worst case scenario.
And-
Yeah, people could hack you.
Yeah,
as
you could
far
get
as-
hacked. I wouldn't want that. Or somebody could just hack you and get into all your information. And then that
Yeah.
would bring cancel culture to an all-time fucking high. It's like, well, no, dude, because I went through his fucking brain and one time he had fucking weird thoughts about his cousin.
Yeah, and they would get on the whole thing of,
you do
total
realize
recall.
like if this was a simulation or if anything where our fucking thoughts people could see them or something like that, we would all be canceled immediately.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but not
I
from
mean,
our higher
I'd
like
be
okay.
arrested, probably.
Because
that's what-
like, dude,
What I thought was
I was
interesting-
I mean, just what yesterday or the day before, I was watching a murder documentary with my sister, and they get to the end of it where the dad is crying about his dead daughter, and he's like, "We always had this thing because we were so alike. We used to text each other," and he goes, if I'm
I like how
so-
you laugh about the murder.
No, he goes, "If I'm this, then you're this, because we're the same." And I just start busting up laughing.
Because you're like, you're dead and I'm
my
not.
si-
How are we the same?
My sister says, "What the fuck are you laughing about?" Because he said that. I said, "I don't know. He looks pretty alive to me." But it's like, dude, I have the worst fucking like jokes come across my head, and it's like, I
oh
need
man,
to shut
dude,
the
I have to buy.
I know we
I have
all
to
do
bite my
because when we
tongue
get together, we say
constantly.
fucked up shit.
Like, so I was trying to put $1 in the into the safe at my work, and it wouldn't take it because it was all spotted, and I had to bite my tongue because I almost said out loud, "It's like I can't fucking put this in here because it's got more freckles than Orphan Annie's butt cheeks," and I knew I couldn't fucking say that out loud.
Dude,
and
it's
I had to
funny.
bite my tongue.
It's funny. Some of the people who get in my car, they're drunk and they're stupid, and for whatever reason, they can't figure out how to work a fucking seatbelt. And they're like, "Something's wrong with your car." I was like, "No, there's not, man." I was like, "Everybody
Human
else
error.
himself." I was like, "Yeah, it's operator error." And they're like, "No, something's wrong. It's
You
not
drank too
going
many
in."
3s and 6s
And,
in your code. You're
They're like, "It's not going in." I was like, "Well, you try spitting on it first."
Oh man. Okay, so in all seriousness, about the simulation stuff, like the thing that I found like the most interesting. Let me tell you, brothers. We can get into the ancestral simulation. I thought that was a really cool fucking concept, where it's just like they're just they're doing simulations of like our history, like us in a more advanced like civilization, just doing a simulation of like history for science purposes to like run stuff from like the past. Like if we could do it right now, we would do it from like the Western days. Run a simulation of like John Wayne like fucking characters that wasn't named Marion, and fucking and see how they would actually react given like the mindset back then, and then the fucking
Yeah.
their surroundings and everything like that.
What
I was
if,
just thinking about it because Mike was saying a simulation thing. They already know all of our thoughts and stuff, and that made me think of the fucking ancestral thing. Because then it's like,
What-
oh yeah, because they planned us in our environments on purpose to see how we'd react at that point in time in history,
Yeah.
which
If
is
you-
pretty
if you're-
fucking cool. Who's the
Yeah,
guy that came up with that shit? What's his fucking name?
I'm
Or,
not sure.
like-
Like
There's
I
somebody that
didn't
was
do
a
much
firm
research
believer in
this
it.
week, unfortunately.
Nick Bostrom.
Mm.
His belief proposed. Yeah, Oxford University guy. But
So,
about that kind of stuff, I'm not the fucking
I was
smartest
just
person in the
thinking,
world,
like,
so I'm
if
not
you-
good to
if-
say on intellectual
If you think
level.
about the Matrix style, with pods, batteries, whatever, or just like pods
Neo.
all over the fucking place of just people all plugged into the same simulation. Like,
I'm
what
gonna tell
if
you
it
why
was-
the Matrix is fake, because there wouldn't be that many analogs. It'd be more.
Yeah.
There was a lot of touch screens in that movie. I was surprised because I couldn't remember that when I went back and watched those movies. There is touch screen fucking things.
Oh,
but
yeah,
it's
I would
still
not
all
use-
90s style like
Well-
computers and
well,
shit.
here's
Well-
the thing with people
well,
who are
With
afraid of
some
AI.
Star Trek,
They use
Star Trek
analog.
couldn't get right. They do analog Star Trek, and then they try to revamp it with touchscreen shit.
Is
and
that why you
TV
got an
show.
analog soundboard, Mike? Because you're afraid of the AI?
Yeah.
You're gonna take
No,
over.
Well,
no, I like
Matrix
having
has an
buttons.
excuse. Matrix has an
I
excuse
agree
because
with
you
you.
don't. But all the humans don't have that. They don't have that much access to technology.
That we
But
know. Of.
Yeah, but how'd they
You
get
know,
90s
How
style
do you know
technology?
that we're in a
Well,
simulation? And we're
that's
working
all.
on-
That's all that they had. They're
Wait,
they're
wait,
using they're using what they know, and they're using scrap parts to build whatever
Yeah,
they can.
yeah, I get that.
And so
and
that's a
Matrix
lot
is
easier to making
great-
screens.
Matrix, I love all three of them. I don't like the fourth one, but I think it was
I haven't
more of
seen
a
it yet,
fucking
but-
joke on shit.
Neither
But
have I. Or the third one. Still.
fucking
Update
what's
from
it
the
called?
first episode.
That the shit that irritates me with Fallout is the same. Oh, we're using scrap shit. It's like it's been how many hundreds of years, and you guys still haven't advanced anything. I don't know.
Well,
Fallout.
well,
I can't get
oh,
behind
Fallout,
the
yeah.
Fallout thing. Yeah, Fallout. It's like hundreds and hundreds of years. They're not being suppressed by any fucking like robot whatever thing. They're not underground. They're
Yeah,
still getting
but-
scrap.
Well, no,
of shit, and
Fallout.
they're still
You don't
eating
know.
things out of
Yeah,
cans
but
of
they're-
food.
Yeah,
And
but
I'm going to
Fallout-
tell you right now that a can of sardines does not have a shelf life of 500 years. Like that's not a fucking thing.
Obviously,
Well,
you've never seen Futurama because
Yeah.
Homeboy had his sardines for millions of years. You fuckwad.
Yeah,
No, dude,
so
because that shit
Fallout,
has like the shelf life of
Fallout,
what?
you don't know if there's constant war though. You don't know. It's like every time they build up somewhere, that the intelligent place drops off, they get taken out, and so they have to restart
Well,
constantly
that
again.
could also, but
There's
it's
no
never in
foundation.
the-
There's not a strong enough
but
foundation
also-
to hold
But
hold
also,
them.
then why do they lack like that in their history thing? Because it's a pretty solid fucking thing. This war happened, and for the last couple hundred years, we've just been out here surviving like the Wild West.
People
but
lose
it's
their
like-
history and they take someone else's
That's-
because they don't know
that's
what
But
like,
else
yeah, you can
happened.
have a
That's
hacking
what-
thing, and
that's
you
the
can
premise
hack
of religion.
machines.
Like
You can hack machines, and you can create fucking like complex like weaponry and shit. I think Fallout 4 was one that had like the most fucking like technological like advanced shit in it, but they were still using like
Yeah.
fucking crappy whatever. But it makes no sense because you can have this like high science skill and all this crap. You can do all this shit, but yet
Like-
you can't. I don't know. They finally started being able to grow plants and shit like something
True.
fucking.
And then Mike, what were you saying about the Matrix?
Oh,
second.
shit. It was going back to just an extension of like thoughts and personalities and stuff. If they're all stored in like a bank system, like how fucking weird would it be if like these batteries that have like mental problems are stored just a little too close to the heating vent, they're overheating. just something stupid like that.
So why
where-
people go crazy?
Yeah, just some stupid thing on the outside. Like
I think
just some
yeah.
some
You guys, what if-
technical malfunction that happens in our daily lives. Just god damn it, thermostat went out.
I think one of the biggest
What if,
problems with the Matrix is the fact that so they start using human batteries. They know humans so well, and they start using human batteries because they can't gain solar because the humans did something to block out.
Yeah, but
you
Neo
know,
and
the
Trinity
sun-
go
or-
up there pretty easy.
Yeah, they go up there pretty easy, and it's just like, oh, they
They
can't
couldn't
use it
build
because
like a tower or
'cause-
something.
yeah, yeah, and the thing is like to be able to make a realistic simulation takes a whole lot because it's more than just downloading your
Yeah.
mind into a computer because
Yeah, the math with the Matrix doesn't work.
yeah, it's the biggest thing is just how do you simulate a reality so believable? I know they've went through like 8 matrices or something like
Matthew.
that. They went through a bunch of them because each
Neo's
one more
the one.
realistic than the last. But the crazy part about it is, and it's the whole problem with when you download a consciousness into a computer system is like you're more than just the brain, your whole body, your body
Yeah.
of organs and everything else that influences your personality and influences. You know, you get hangry. You get all these things that create your conscious
all
that
that.
affects your consciousness.
You've
It's
done
things
this
that
film
like
before. It's the
yeah,
shit with
yeah.
that Johnny Depp movie. Where
Yeah,
he's the
it's like
fucking-
you're-
he becomes
you know,
like he's no longer human after.
they
Yeah,
do say that your stomach
transcendence.
is like your
Yeah,
second brain.
Transcendence. I've never
You
watched
know,
the
and
movie,
so
but I got
there's tons
I
of
got
things
the
that
gist of it.
influence it. So it would have to be a super high tech, crazy, realistic
like, think of primal-
Yeah.
Dude, do you know how much
simulation
fucking
that
primal
wouldn't-
instincts take
yeah,
over
that
majority of our
probably-
fucking-
it would probably go beyond, I think, a brain in a vat. I think.
Yeah.
think so?
It'd go
Yeah.
beyond it.
Somebody like Elon Musk, if somebody were to fucking push him over the edge, he would violently probably murder somebody if he felt like his back was in a corner. That's not a logical decision. That's not. That's based on fucking pure
But-
instinct.
but
it's like, oh shit, this guy, I feel like he might kill me, but I can't do the math of whether or not he could actually physically kill me. But at this instant, at fucking like just a
Well,
split
that's
second,
not-
it's like
that's
I'm gonna
not
drive this
just-
fucking screwdriver into his head.
If
No,
it was just
well-
purely the brain, that it wouldn't be like that. That's the brain.
Well,
being
even
fueled
the
by,
body though.
adrenaline.
I think,
Well, then
and-
even
even
with
the
the-
body. I don't think
Our
human
brains
beings
quantum
are.
computers, you guys.
Well, I don't think but I don't think the human body and all its makeup is a actual battery fuel. It's not a good fuel source to create a simulation realistic enough to contain it. It's
Yeah.
like people trying to make a perpetual machine.
motion, perpetual motion. It's
motion
technically
machine.
impossible, even though
I guess
it's
all those
impossible.
instincts would
sometimes
come
do
from
it.
the brain. I
Yeah.
don't know, but why do people get gut
It's-
feeling? Like I know
It's
a
impossible
thing,
because
but
the
it's
energy has to
also-
come from somewhere, and it's like
Yeah.
people like that. To use it would make no sense for some kind of
If you no longer
crazy
have
civilization
pain receptors-
unless this is it. Unless this is
You
it.
don't-
Rick and Morty nailed it again with this one with the what was it when they played? Was it Stanley? What was it? They're at the arcade thing. They're blitzing
Yeah.
chips.
Oh, Roy.
And they
Yeah,
Roy, and they
Roy.
played
He's
Roy.
saying whatever. He
And-
doesn't
and-
even have a social security number.
and as soon as you put on the helmet, you're you get so immersed
you
that
live
you
a
can't
life.
distinguish.
Yeah.
Yeah, you live a whole full life.
Yeah.
And
You come out of the game.
That's what Elon's basically.
Yeah, but
saying.
also
That's
that
what
Yeah.
Rick knew
You're not
Rick
gonna
is
be able
fully
to- Yeah, but
Rick is fully aware of the
Rick-
simulation.
Because
That's
Rick
why
is
he's taking
super
out such a
conscious.
Wild,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
He's
he also
super
has
conscious.
a very special mind.
Yeah, but for the average person,
He's like
say,
Asperger's times 3.
Like Joseph, if
Yeah.
you stuck the Roy helmet
But,
in your head, you'd go back to the fucking carpet store.
Yeah,
Like that's
I-
what you would do.
No, but see, that's
Yeah.
Everyone would.
I, how
everyone
would you
everyone
explain-
would.
Well, yeah, but I mean, how would you explain things like Matthew, the way that we were raised, right? Like a lot of fucking mental disorders and shit involved in that kind of stuff. Like, how do you, like, you program something like that? I
Also
don't know.
was
Like,
molested.
Well,
you take
going
something
back
like
to the
that,
Matrix,
and then you
what they
try
had
to
to
fucking
do.
restart them into a normalized whatever. Like in the Matrix, in the fourth one, like it took everything in their power to keep Neo fucking whatever
Yeah.
because he lived through all of that shit already.
Well,
that they
they-
try to force him
they
into a
love it.
normalized life. They
Yeah.
even physically changed his
I
appearance.
haven't seen the fourth one, but I know in the previous Matrix movies they literally used Neo as a tool to test. He was a game tester. He literally tested their creation of the Matrix, found out it was faulty,
And that's what he
so
is
they
in the
gave him
new
the
game
option.
or
Well,
the
yeah.
new movie. He's literally a game tester. is
Yeah.
his
Because
job.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it, but it makes
created
sense
the
because
Matrix.
that's what the
Yeah.
one did. The one basically, the robots gave him an ultimatum: let people live outside of the world because they could just murder them all any second.
Yeah.
Or be a part of us. Let us recreate the
Oh,
Matrix
they
again more
added
realistic.
physical. They added
so
real
people
world
not to
powers
leave.
to this new one, which is stupid.
Yeah.
They-
So touching on what Matt said earlier on the battery thing not being feasible, I completely agree with that. think that a simulation theory would have to be done for the pleasure of some other thing. Because using it as batteries, it is just not feasible.
Scientific review.
And then
That's what the
touching on
ancestral
your
thing.
thing, Joseph, at least what they say in the Matrix, which I believe this to be a true thing. If you wanted to make a simulation work to where it wouldn't crash, you would need to make it imperfect. And they said that Mr. Smith in the Matrix did say that the first Matrixes were perfect. It was paradise, and they didn't believe it.
Yeah, because they didn't believe. That's what
Yeah.
I'm
Exactly.
saying.
So
with
it's like
Casey
you
saying
have
the
to
thing about
cause
the
a little
carpet
bit of
store-
pain. So
Yeah, but that's what I'm
pain and
saying
like
about
there has to be inconsistencies and fuck ups.
Yeah,
for
well,
it
that's
to
what I'm
be
saying about the
believable.
carpet store thing. I wouldn't go back to the carpet store because it's unrealistic in my mind because the trauma that I had, whatever. Why would I think that's normal to live a normalized suburban life when my entire life has been a fucking shit show from birth?
The point of Roy.
You go into Roy, you're not going to know your
Yeah,
previous
you
life.
don't know who you are.
You wouldn't know
but-
unless you're self-aware.
Yeah,
The-
but
the
that's
game-
what humans. That's what in the Matrix thing with the humans thing. When things
But
were going too good, they realized it's like no, there's no such thing as like this doesn't add
woke
up.
up.
Like the brain woke themselves up. The whole
Yeah,
thing with the
but-
Matrix, a guy could push himself farther beyond, like an athlete could push himself far beyond the fucking limits of what the human body should do, and will wake up in the fucking tank. I'm saying in Matrix standards that it would, if you believe like the way that the Matrix with that, how the mind recognizes what's like fucking that the mind can recognize this isn't right just by that they have to make a shitty world with imperfections. That Roy's life thing, because Roy has a preset fucking story that you can go back to the fucking whatever, to the carpet store, that life doesn't have to be hard. You have two choices, and a comfortable life is the obvious choice. Whereas if you grew up and knew there was no actual fucking comfortable choice, like a lifestyle like that, you had no comfortable choice, that's unrealistic to you. That it was like, no, I've never had that option because I've never had those opportunities.
Yeah.
That speaks a lot with minorities and stuff. If you take like a black person that came from like fucking urban fucking background, that Roy story wouldn't fucking work for them because they know that's fake as fuck, because they've already know that's in their life, their reality. That was never an actual thing. They couldn't comprehend a reality like that.
Yeah.
If you do the Matrix thing where it's like, oh wait, the world can't be this perfect because that they can comprehend that reality isn't fucking perfect, then you'd have to take the fucking traumas of the brain already and fucking realize that it's not perfect. And with they've tried to reset Neo's brain and everything in the Matrix. If you're going by that kind of shit, Neo always goes back to being who he is.
Yeah.
Because his brain is already wired like
our
that.
brains are so fucked that there's an actual saying that gets used, a lot, which is it's too good to be true.
But this is only going off of us actually being physical like brains. This isn't going off us being NPCs. Like this isn't going off of us being actual programs. I'm saying with an actual brain it wouldn't work. But if we're not real, like if we are just computer programs, then it would work. Like they
That's
could
what
do
I
that
think.
shit to us.
I believe that.
But not
I
if we're
believe
physical brains. Like that's,
I believe the most
if we were thrown
realistic
into a virtual reality, we would be able to tell the difference.
Yeah, I think that if we are, if anything, we're a program more than we are just a physical. If say we are living in a simulation.
I can't tell.
Well, I was gonna say Nate's ready to jump on if you guys want him to come in.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna take a piss.
Let Matt finish what he was saying real quick.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
right.
I'm
That's what I was trying to just.
All I was gonna say is like realistically, it would do no purpose for us to be, existing outside of like the Matrix or the simulation, unless it was a game kind of thing, or like some kind of like something.
There's trauma, there's scars of trauma you can't get rid of. But if we were just data, then
if we're data makes sense.
Data makes sense, but physical brains do not.
Yeah. Well, with that, we have a guest coming on soon, so we're going to take a break and get that set up. We'll be right back.
All right.
Hey guys, if you guys love swallowing that red pill and you want to swallow something else, don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a comment and vote in our polls. Definitely give us some feedback. We want to hear more from you guys. All right.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We got our special guest, Nate, here. Nate,
howdy.
Let's, say hello.
Howdy. My name's Nate. Nate Nasty. Rowdy Nasty Nate from the Dirt Brigade pod.
Oh.
Do you want me to tell you why we're in a simulation? Let me tell you guys why. So I was driving down the road this one time with my wife.
This is how we're gonna open up. Okay,
Yeah.
Casey, go
He's
ahead.
talking about
Yeah.
Jesus
Okay.
in Idaho.
No, listen.
And
This
how
is
Trump
I
is
know,
God.
This
and
is how I
then
know the simulation theory is real. I was driving down the freeway one
my
day.
Trump flag
just
waving.
randomly said out of nowhere. Just
I'm
randomly
sorry.
said out of nowhere. I was like, hey, you know what I'd never seen I've never seen in person? A fucking tumbleweed just roll across the road.
Oh no, dude! I see that all the time.
And
where I
then, no,
live.
listen. I never seen it in person. I never seen a tumbleweed just bounce across the road, like they do in the cartoons, like across the road. No, I never seen it until I fucking said that, and I shit you not, 10 seconds later, a fucking tumbleweed comes rolling across the
Casey,
street. I
Casey,
swear
with all due
fucking-
respect, Casey, with all due respect, you ain't in the Wild West, all right? Now I'm just playing. Where I live, I legit every day at work see when the north winds are blowing, tumbleweeds just flying down the road. I just sit there and watch them, like 2 or 3 a day.
Yeah. How
I'll
the fuck
see-
have
I'll
you never
see
seen it
tumbleweeds
happen?
all the
Surrounded
time.
by
I'm
high
just saying,
desert.
I never seen one before I said that, and then all of a sudden one pops up out of nowhere. That's some bullshit.
Hey, dude, we can
It's
get
like the
into my whole
situation with
fucking weird
words.
616 shit. Because I
Yeah.
swear to God, I see the number 616 all the fucking time. It's probably because my brain's just wired from Marvel movies
Yeah.
or from
Yeah.
Marvel in general, Earth 616. But I swear to God, like my brain always.
You expect to
attention to
see
the
it though. It's something that like
Yeah,
like if
that's what
simulation
I-
theory is something that if it's like the simulation emanates from like your own personality, like you're doing it, which is kind of like the solipsistic theory of simulation theory, where it's just like that's kind of like the brain in the vat type thing. It's like reality is coming from you. You're the point of origin for it. So
Yeah.
it's like you think about 616, you see 616. Casey
I
thought
thought
about
that
like
Casey
he's
sees
like I never
tumbleweeds.
see those tumbleweeds, and one just appears.
Well, then
Like,
I'm gonna start saying I haven't seen Ian McKellen
Dude,
naked fucking Patrick Stewart in the
no,
middle
check
of
it
the
out,
road,
check it out.
and
You
that
guys-
better just happen.
You
guys-
yeah, maybe.
Do this
Oh
experiment
my bad,
tomorrow.
Sir Ian McKellen.
You guys do this experiment.
You
Listen,
know his
listen.
orientation. If you ask him, I'm sure it'd happen.
Do this experiment tomorrow.
Can't
Next
ask him
time
his
you're out and
orientation,
about.
bro.
Think of a car color you rarely ever see. And I
Oh,
swear to God, you'll start
Casey.
seeing every single one of those
Hey,
fucking car
No,
colors.
no, no,
Oh,
no.
that's like Grand Theft
that's
Auto?
Grand Theft
Yeah.
Auto theory
Yeah.
When
right
you
there.
steal the baddest car, now everybody got the baddest car.
Everybody's got that badass car. One time I was
It's like,
tripped
oh,
because
everybody
we were
got a
sitting-
Lamborghini in the hood.
I was in I was at I think it was in Winco and Chico, and I was like, whatever. I was like, that's weird. I haven't seen that many red cars, and so I was telling fucking Anna, I was like, dude, it's like every other fucking car is like white or black, and then it's a red car, and it's like white, black, red, and I swear to God, like it was similar to that pattern. And then Anna was laughing. It's like red's not that uncommon of a car, and it's really not. But the fact is that it was tripping me out because it was like white, black, red, like everywhere around me, and I was like I thought it, and it was there. It was fucking. I'm explaining it weird, but it was fucking weird to me. So she makes jokes every time. It's like, Joseph,
when
there's
there's-
like 3 red
yeah.
cars there. I was like,
When
don't
it's
even-
like, I guess it's one of those things. It's like when too many
I think I was just
coincidences
tired of tripping out,
happen
but-
to, I guess, when they happen like
Coincidences.
coincidences. When they happen continuously, then you're like
deja
what?
vu's the
Yeah,
trippiest
deja vu's the
fucking
thing too.
like Matrix.
It's a weird sensation in that. Another one that people think is also glitch in the Matrix is the Morgan Freeman complex.
What's that?
What the hell is
I was
that?
kidding.
That Manson, are you
Matthew,
talking about the
please elaborate.
It's when
on whatever
babies
the
are
fuck
born with
that
a
is.
really deep narrator voice.
Matthew, you talking about the Mandela
That was-
effect?
When I was a little boy, I swear Bernstein Bears were spelled a certain way, and then when I got older, they were spelled different.
No, that yeah, the man. The
That's not a great one.
effect.
The Mandela
It's the
effect.
Mandela effect.
And so that's another thing people think is another like
Well, they
glitch
got
in the
a whole
Matrix kind of
episode, I
thing.
think,
Well,
on
some
that.
people
Yeah.
think that that's a multiverse thing that people are like
Connected to time travel, yeah.
connecting the.
Oh,
shit
that could
like
be something
that.
too. People changing.
And that, I
time.
believe that one more than a
Multiverse
simulation
shit.
theory, even
That's
though
a
it sounds
different
more
episode,
far-fetched than
boys.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, brother.
Well, there's time travel right now, guys, and it exists because we're
Yo,
jumping
time traveled
episodes.
into the next episode. Phew.
Like I just told you guys, there's tumbleweeds around here all the time, dude. I'm in a fucking bubble in the middle of nowhere.
Not proof of a simulation. There's tumbleweeds fucking everywhere, Casey. So your fucking story bullshit because they're
I know.
everywhere.
No,
I think I was getting too close to the truth, so the simulation put me out in the middle of nowhere. So
The moderators
I
are
didn't learn anything.
listening.
You know,
Moderators are listening.
I've seen tumbleweeds
In all
before,
seriousness, though, I
before
try to do
said
research
that,
on this shit.
but I've
all
never seen
fucking
them
week.
rolling. I've never seen them fucking rolling. They've
Oh,
always
dude, they
been
roll.
stopped
They
in the middle
roll.
of the road.
Okay.
I
I
don't
don't
believe
roll
that. I
past
think
their bathrooms and
I-
across
I-
the street all the time in this
Yeah.
where
I think-
truckers park.
I
across
think
the
you're
street
fucking
from their
wrong,
work.
and I think they have legs, but their legs are in the fourth dimension. You can't see them walk.
I
Dumb
think they're just
motherfucker.
like. I think you're wrong in that the fact is you've never seen Totoro and you've never seen dust things
Oh,
move.
I fucking
That is
love
what,
Totoro.
That is what tumbleweeds are. They have little eyeballs and they move
you seen
around like
Rainbow
little dust
Fireflies?
things from Totoro.
Oh, it's so
I will
fucking
not
sad.
watch
I
it
love it,
because
dude.
that's
I'm a
the
big,
saddest thing.
I'm a big Ghibli fan.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy?
Dude,
Here's
Ghibli's
a crackpot
giving you
theory for
Ghibli?
you. Here's a crackpot theory for you. I wonder if alcohol's so
Okay.
prevalent in human culture because if they get blacked out, it's less for the system to render.
there we go.
Nate, we were talking about Elon Musk's the Elon Musk whole fucking like brain chip thing or whatever. It's like
Yeah,
nah, dude,
hacker.
somebody could
Oh,
hack
the
you.
neural
and then
interface
fucking-
thing, yeah.
Yeah, somebody could hack you and you'd get canceled instantly. Like they would just like it's like, nah, dude, you had that weird thought about your cousin.
Oh, gee.
And it's like, bro,
Just get
or
sent
you'd
to
be waking up
everybody.
in the morning. You'd be
That's-
waking
that's
up in
what I
the
was-
morning like with fucking Viagra, fucking like it's like I really need a Viagra today because it's like
Right.
pop-ups in your head
That's
all
what
night
I
when
was
you're
telling
sleeping. I
Joseph.
think
I was like-
Futurama did that.
You know
I was
what's okay? I want to bring
I
up
was like, if
something.
Joseph does do that, then I was like what Joseph explained. I was like, you're gonna get some total recall shit going on, and then there's gonna be like precogs in these fucking pools, fucking telling you like, oh, this motherfucker's
Oh yeah, no. You'll
commit
try
a
to
crime,
you'll
you
try
know?
to download some information
Minority
because you want to
Report.
remember something from the Civil
is that?
War.
Oh, that's not total
So
recall.
you're
Oh,
downloading
yeah,
Minority
Report.
Report.
My bad. Sorry, wrong.
You're trying to
movie.
download something because like, what was that shit we learned from about the Civil War? Hold on, let me download it real quick in my head, and then all of a sudden it's just like, God damn it, dude! I really want to watch this dinosaur video because I won't last longer than 3 minutes. Like that's like, there's no way that-
about dinosaurs.
Nate, what were you about to say? What
I
were
was
you?
gonna. When it comes to like the simulation theory thing, like if a simulation does not already exist that is like identical to a human's natural perception, or is just beyond the uncanny valley, impossible to discern from reality. We are actively trying to create one, and like it's being pushed everywhere too with the whole metaverse thing. Like people are trying to like people.
Yeah,
there's the
metaverse,
one
I
big thing
forgot about that shit.
I've seen lately is like the metaverse garden, like people like building realistic looking gardens, and a video has recently been released where it
People
shows
are buying property.
a train station in like a metaverse space, in a 3-dimensional space, and it looks like it's gotten so close to photorealism. The only thing that differs is at nighttime, the light it doesn't look quite right yet. In order to give you the amount of visibility that you need to like see the objects around you at night, the light just doesn't match actual like darkness with light
There's
in
too
it.
much
you know?
color in it.
And then
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing with TVs right now too, is the whole thing with getting TVs like the next best TV, something that does light correctly.
You know what I don't
to
like?
where you're
My-
sitting.
those
My
new
TV is
TVs?
4K, and I
No,
can't watch
people-
Disney
I
Plus
just
unless
wanna-
turn the lighting.
Hold on,
all the
I
way
want
up.
to talk a little bit about the metaverse because people are
Lighting
buying property in the
garbage.
metaverse. So
Well,
people
yeah,
are
That is
buying
weird. I haven't heard
property.
of that.
Dude.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're,
no, Brie,
they're basically
okay, so
buying up virtual land.
Brie Larson. So everybody's like, cancel her. It's like, oh, dude, did she say something fucked up? And I go on there. It's like, oh no, she's promoting NFTs on her metaverse thing, and it's like, you're gonna cancel her over that? It was like I thought
who
she said
gives a
something
shit?
grimy. It was like, dude, who cares? It's like, no, she's a sellout. She's whatever. This is against everything she believes, and it's like, who gives a fuck, dude? It's like what Chappelle
Yeah.
said. It's like, I can't taste the difference between Pepsi and cola, except for I like whatever one better because they pay me more.
Whoever paid
Like,
me
that-
more
Yeah.
recently, that's what I like.
It was
more.
like, dude, if you're looking up to a celebrity as an idol, you're a fucking idiot because they get paid to tell you what you want to hear, or they get paid to say certain fucking things, whatever. It's like you can't cancel her because she's an indie girl and all this stuff, and all of a sudden she's fucking indie woman, and that she's
Oh, they can
fucking,
do whatever they want to her. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, no, I don't like her. I really don't like her because
I don't
all
even
her-
know who it is.
Oh, Captain Marvel. It's Captain Marvel.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
she
Yeah,
got
the only thing that isn't
Let her sell NFTs.
the only thing that's not marvelous about her is her ass.
what the flatness of it?
That is true. Okay.
Misogynist.
Lie detected to my fucking nuts. That's the truth.
I didn't. The one thing I respect about Brie Larson has nothing to do with anything else, but that she always like. Apparently, she always invests the money she gets into other things, so her money's constantly flowing. It's not just standing
Yeah,
still.
it's called
like
a tax
Matthew has a
write-off,
problem with.
Joseph.
Well, yeah, too. But I mean, I'm saying like Matthew said, his biggest problem with the fucking 1% is the fact is like they just hold on to that money. Like, oh, I'm a billionaire. That money stays still. It's not going into anything.
Wait,
Yeah,
yeah,
right, dude.
stimulus
Those guys
checks
are
were
so
meant to be
lucrative with
spent.
their money.
Yeah,
They don't
well,
spend it on our
that's
shores. They spend
that's
it
for another
offshores.
thing, but yeah.
But I don't
yeah,
know. But I don't know all the logistics and that shit. But I can't tell you I don't like Brie Larson's attitude. I respect that she tries to stand up for whatever, like whatever kind of fucking shit, but like the way that she goes about it. Well, Captain Marvel wasn't meant for white males to watch. And it's like, that you can't make a movie and fucking expect it not to be out for the whole whatever. You should make movies for the broad audience. Anybody that's a comic book fan should like it. The problem with that movie was it was too rushed. If they just took a little bit more time, it would have been fucking great. It's not a terrible movie. It really isn't. Thor, I'd rather watch Captain Marvel than Thor 2. Any day. But the fact that it's like, well, it did terrible because it's like white males that gave the whatever, and it wasn't meant for them. It's like it's meant for anybody that watched it.
Well, Captain Marvel actually
I
did
thought it was
good,
pretty good.
financially. It's just it got review bump.
Well, the reviews
but they put it
probably
between
then.
like two of the biggest movies ever made. So,
But then she even also got the fucking okay. They planned that movie to come out after Endgame.
yeah.
And they rushed it because it's like we need representation right now. So they flipped it and did it before Infinity Wars came out. So it was like rushed, but it was like because people like demanded it. They do too much fan service in Marvel.
Yeah. I never got to see
That's why-
Endgame, actually. I only saw the bootleg rear end game, but that was pretty good.
I've never seen it game
Oh,
either.
dude, that's by far the sexier version because then we actually in rear end game we actually got to see Ant-Man go into Thanos' ass, and I appreciate that.
And that was
because
great.
ultimately
Everyone
that is
wanted
what
it.
Doctor Strange was talking about by one possibility.
He's like one of
Like,
those
that-
like
the only way
blow-up
we can
pumps.
If they have that in the metaverse, I'm buying real estate, dude.
Oh, dude.
They were saying, and then
on that shit.
like a theory
It'll
as
just be
far
that
as like
scene replaying in the
what's
background.
another like level of matter would be information. It's like if things exist.
That's what I've seen that
and,
because they're like, oh, that I've seen
yeah.
that. There's the whole thing that there's fucking.
Well, if water exists in your consciousness,
solid,
and we talk
gas,
about water, and
liquid,
if I ask you to,
information.
if you can talk about something and exists, at least for us, it does.
I'm gonna go pee.
I mean, everything's perception based, so why not? You could talk about water. There's a form of water, just in information. And so metaverse stuff, it's it's real in that sense.
Well, how do we know the metaverse isn't us creating another simulation for us? to
Simulation
dive
in a simulation.
Yeah, it's
Could
like
be,
yeah.
dude.
well, because Nate,
Maybe.
well, you weren't here for the beginning of this part, but like there is a theory that like there's a base like world, like either we're the base world or we're a simulation, and whatever happens, like we're either getting ready to build that simulation or we're already inside the stream of simulation. So there's a base world and there's a simulation, and in that simulation they get advanced enough and they create a simulation and so on and so forth. And
Yeah, pretty much
Like,
like, that
so,
episode of Rick
like-
and Morty with the teenyverse and the microverse.
yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, so it's like that. So like, I just fucking lost my train of thought. God damn it.
I'm sorry.
So what if we're in the place of one of those? Because so pretty much
yeah,
like
Well,
what
do
if
you
we're
think?
in the
Do you
middle
think
I mean,
somewhere?
we
base
are definitely
reality, or do you think
actively
we're in
trying
there?
to make a simulation type thing all the time.
Oh yeah,
So
okay, that's
seeing
where
that
that's
just
where
Yeah,
I'm
but
helps
going.
Grand Theft
promote the
Auto.
theory.
Like, do you
that it's
think
been
Video
like,
games.
do you think we're like the base reality
Plus
creating the
two.
metaverse to create our first simulation, if that's going to be it? Or do you think we're already in the simulation and we're creating another level of that simulation?
I don't know, man. I believe in that there's something trippy going on. That like there's things beyond our realm of understanding that have to do with like human consciousness, our place in the universe, and all this. But I don't know if that's the answer to like to that feeling when it comes to me. So I don't know if I believe that it has already happened before and that we're within it now, but that we're gonna create it, I believe we'll definitely create one that is like indistinguishable from reality in the next several generations.
That's
And
that's
that's what
basically
they're
what
saying.
Elon Musk was saying too, because he said
Yeah.
we went from 2 rectangles and a dot playing Pong to what
Well,
we have video games now, where we
Again,
can create
dude,
a whole
Elon
there's
world.
Musk
no-
is
40
not a
years.
human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No question mind that we're gonna create some kind of simulation. We're gonna do that with video games regardless.
Well,
We're
we
gonna
already
do it.
do. It's fucking
Yeah,
Sims, dude.
we're doing it. We're doing it with like The
And hey, we were
Sims.
talking
Yeah, we're
about
doing it with the
Free Guy,
Sims.
Free Guy
We're gonna
before,
make it
Ryan
more
Reynolds
realistic
being
as
the
we
only,
go
like,
along.
sentient
But
I would want to
fucking
visit
guy.
alien planets, dude. Like that's what I would really want to do. I would want to see alien
and that's what-
ecosystems because that's so fucking
and that's
cool.
that's what I think simulations would be good for. It's like I forget that movie, but I think it's like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he takes a vacation on Mars. He doesn't physically go
Total
there.
Recall,
but they
yeah.
Total Recall. They put it in his brain. He does that. So that's what simulations,
that's
things
the-
like that are good for that. Possibly.
Yeah,
but the thing
that's
is,
actually a good one to talk about because that is
y-
the
yeah.
whole question at the end of that movie: was it a simulation?
yeah,
and
did
so
it actually happen?
yeah. And so, pretty much, if we're going to do it eventually, regardless, right? Now, one of the biggest things is intelligent life. If we're self-projecting, which we always do, that's our only basis. So we self-project. That's how we create sci-fi, all these other things, simulation, stuff like that. We will eventually get there where we do simulation, and it's like. With that being said, we haven't seen any evidence of any intelligent life out there, and so that's what we're afraid of. Because we haven't spotted another intelligent life. Because if you're going to simulate Earth or you're going to simulate some kind of species, you don't need to make any other species unless you have an even better system to simulate two worlds in one.
Comforting,
And so, it's scary because
theory.
if we haven't seen any intelligent life out there yet, we might just be in a simulation kind of thing. Because realistically, you do the math. There's other intelligent life out there, but we haven't seen any. So what if we're stuck in a simulation? The intelligent life is already, it's out there, and
They're the
we're
ones
just
that created this.
Well,
and they created this kind of
I was
thing.
gonna say it's
and
a very
that's
comforting-
that scary thing.
It's
Yeah,
kind
that's
of
a little
comforting
scary.
it's kind of comforting to think about that, or less like it's less overwhelming to think about. It's like, oh, this is it. There's just like one fucking people, and that we're the creation of those people. We ain't got to worry about nothing else. We're
Yeah.
alone in the galaxy, or maybe
I mean,
that's
that kinda-
lonely feeling. I don't know.
That lends itself
feel
to all
that's
the
more-
god theories, like all the religions created. Because I mean, like say the subjects. I mean, of course, this would be the situation is that the subjects of the simulation don't know that they're in a simulation. So like, what if that was like part of the pathway of discovery? Is like, okay, we know something's up, and that we didn't originate here as you're not going to assume like, okay, how the fuck were we born and shit like that? It's just like
Yeah.
it comes to like a religious space, like just to something we know that there are creators, but the form they take in
Yeah.
people are them projecting like their ideas of humanity into the creator as well.
It all falls to
Exactly.
the same thing to me. And the thing with like religion as a kid that used to freak me out, it literally like would give me anxiety attacks thinking about it. Was like, oh, God created everything. It's like, who created God? And it's like, he's always
Yeah.
been. It's like, but what? But how? But fucking how? And it would give me anxiety attacks. And thinking about like simulation theory, it's like that is comforting. It's like, okay, so we know who created us, but it's like, who created them? Like it's the same fucking shit. And it's the same anxiety attack. You just change the fucking thing from God to architect or designer, character designer.
I got something
Like,
to say
you
about that
change-
actually. I thought about that too, just like oh well, what created God or whatever. But what if? But I think the idea is that like God is all of creation, and I mean you can relate this to like the simulation too, just to being that like everything existed already. Eventually, it came to the point where people invented the simulation, and then the genesis of that is just from within the oneness. But the idea of like the Big Bang, there was nothing, then there's something. Or there was a ball of super dense nothingness apparently that blew up.
It's a fucking crazy like it almost feels like contradicting like kind of thing. It's like, well, nothing existed, now it does. It's like, yeah, but what created that nothing? It's like
Yeah.
it's like that's
Seems like a
impossible.
bullshit excuse to me.
Yeah, because it's like that's impossible. It's like, how could nothing create something? But then it's like we're obviously here. We're proof that nothing created something.
Yeah.
But then it
Or
also
just that
feels
everything
like that
always
makes no
was.
sense. Yeah,
Or
but
just that everything that always was.
But it's such a hard thing for your brain to fucking wrap itself around. It's like something had to create something for it to be there, because that's what your brain knows. It's like, oh shit, I'm sitting here in front of a microphone. Who created this? Oh, Samsung. It's not Samsung. Furine. God damn, dude, that sounds like a cat food brand. Yeah, it's just like it's hard to wrap around. So it's like no matter what theory it is, it always fucking
And that's
feels like who
hubris, man.
created God.
Because of like all the shit that we've created, we just assume that everything has to be created. I
Yeah,
mean,
it
yeah,
has to be the fact that it can't just always have been. It had
yeah.
to have been nothing.
Now we're talking anti-simulation theory here. Kind of like,
now we're going backwards here.
oh, it's
We're trying to
interesting though. We should
simulate
explain both
the
sides.
mind. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all crazy. Everything's fucking crazy. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, let me
The
tell you
toughest
this,
thing-
Nathan, Mister
Hey, his
Mister
name
Big
is-
Man on campus, Mister.
It is Nasty Nate, AK. He
Nasty
told me all the
Nate.
AKs.
Nate Nasty, Nasty Nate sometimes.
and moderately nasty Nate. no,
They call me the girthy dangler. They call me Cat Prince. They call me Jumpin' Jehoshaphat.
Oh, the
they call
Tybalt.
me Fence Plasm. They call me.
Have you
They call
ever
me
gone by?
Jizlo.
Have you ever gone by Nate Tybalt instead? Because that would sound like a
Tybalt.
cool stage name, like the Prince of Cats, like Tybalt.
That's my LARPing name.
You just throw cats instead of fireballs. You just cat spell.
Oh,
Why are you
God.
throwing fucking cats? Where did you get these cats? I'm a polymorph. I fucking throw my hands and they morph into cats. And
When I
you're just
first discovered my powers, all I could throw was hairballs.
as time went on, my palms would turn into feline.
Which is a
Where did
little
you really-
uncomfortable when you got to do
Everybody's
bathroom
all-
stuff.
When you're all like,
dude,
everybody's
until
like
you hit
freaking
level
out,
20
you're
and,
like,
and you start throwing
dude,
Holly Berry
what
instead.
the fuck? It's like, no, I don't mean how your powers manifest. I mean in RL. Oh, I found these at the local Burger King. They're just sitting out in front waiting for food. I figured they'd have a lot more fun if they were like interactive in my simulation going on.
It said free on the cardboard box, so you know.
What are you gonna do with all these cats? I'm going to make them active members of their community. Or my community. Are you loading them up in a knapsack? It is not a knapsack, sir. It is a magical bag
my
that can hold
catapult.
that can hold up to 100 items.
Kind of.
Well, you're
Feline
getting a
man,
little
sir.
full at 16 cats. It's like, yeah, items, not living beings. Leave me alone. You know nothing about my sorcery.
Oh, dude, I'm reading a pretty interesting book right now called "He Who Fights with Monsters." Have you ever heard of it?
No.
Okay, but it's one of those like it's in the lit RPG category. Have you ever heard of that?
Literary?
Yeah,
No,
it's
it's just
literary
lit.
RPG. That's what it's based.
Nah,
It's
it's
lit
just
as
lit.
fuck, fam. Dude, how many sut dudes does it take to plug in a light bulb, homie?
It is.
None. It's already lit, fam.
It's like on the book category. It says category, and then it's fire emoji followed by the red 100
Eggplant.
emoji. It's
Eggplant
lit
water.
100%, and then AF, and then it's a sword.
I'm gonna cover you in eggplant water, homie, dude. But so this book anyway is about this guy who gets sucked into another world, and the way that he copes with being pulled into another world is like there's like he gets pulled through what is called like the astral space, and it's basically just like wild magic, ephemeral energy. And when he comes into the other world, he has these like gifts, like because all the people in the world have like these kind of like racial gifts. It's based on like RPG shit, like orcs and elves and stuff, you know.
Do Jewish
And,
people have good bargaining skills?
They do. They have
sorry.
good bargaining
Yes.
skills. They have they can craft interstellar lasers too. That's like a he gets pulled into this world, and he gets an RPG type interface,
Good with
right?
Hollywood.
And he gets like a storage thing. So like almost nobody on the planet can like loot things or whatever. Like you kill an animal, he can like just loot it. It evaporates into like rainbow smoke, and like shit shows up in his inventory. And
Can I just add
he
on
can
to
just
what
pull shit
Joseph's
out of thin
character-
air. He's just like, what the fuck?
Joseph,
But,
they roll a disadvantage against any Disney character.
Damn, that's fun.
Jewish people do.
That's actually pretty cool. I love like reincarnation in the new worlds kind of thing. Like that time I was reincarnated as a slime. I like that for the
heard of
fact that it seems like he's going from one world. At first I thought it was kind of dumb because I was like, he's going to a world that's based like a video game. But then I was like, oh, he's jumping into a simulation reality is what it basically is. He names creatures, it takes magic, and they evolve. He literally has a voice that tells him it's like fire resistant, like fire resistant added, like whatever, like it tells him the skills that he's getting. Like, yeah, and it's like your whatever skill evolved to whatever, and it's a robot voice. So it's like
Yeah.
a simulation in a sense, and it's
Yeah.
it's pretty. God damn it!
You guys,
Pretty
we're
badass.
living in probably the shittiest MMO ever.
Yeah,
No,
dude.
check it
Yeah,
out.
dude,
Check it out.
trust me, I've been trying to level up for years. The only thing that's
So
leveled up is my fucking belly weight.
I actually read this
Yeah.
theory the other day. It was
Hey, guys, this is like New World but worse.
talking about
Thanks,
you know how
Bezos.
you know how they just fired up the hydrogen collider again?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah. So the last time they did that was what, like, was it 4 years ago, whatever it was, right before COVID started. Basically, is when they shut it down after they did their last little test. And I saw this little theory. It's like, oh, they fucked some shit up, got us into another timeline, and they got us into that, like, you know, all this bullshit, and then they flip on this hydrogen collider and they're supposed to reset us.
Yeah, dude.
Believe what you will.
I
of
want
that. I'm just
Berenstain
saying-
Bears
I'm
to be
just saying
spelled
that's
exactly
pretty-
how I remember
that's
it.
Pretty
Fucking Matt.
I'm getting pissed off
Yeah,
over
bro,
here.
think
That's
about
jealous.
Jiffy's peanut butter.
That's the
what was it?
Jiffy's peanut butter. That's one
All
of the
the-
things.
your
It says
your
Jiff-
Jiffy's peanut butter's always
All
got a
the
dick-shaped
Mandela
hole in the
effect.
middle. I don't know why, but
What's that one? What's the Jiffy's peanut butter?
There's one that's Jiff, and then
Fuck.
people remember it as Jiffy or something
oh,
like that.
that is a
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I remember.
it's
I think
not
they're
Jiffy?
mixing it up with Skippies.
Well, yeah, Skippy's. That's
Sounds
what's in
like
the
it.
jar.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes
Wait,
sense.
Jiffy's not a peanut butter either?
No, Jif
Jif.
is a peanut butter, and then Skippy is a peanut butter.
But Jiffy
Yeah,
but
is
people
not.
mix-
Yeah, that's weird.
But
Well, you
Jiffy's
never
not,
heard
but
someone
I think
be like-
I feel like I remember that though.
It's like,
because I was poor. We never
bro,
bought
I got my
Skippy.
dog over.
Know a
I'll
lot
be
about
there in a
peanut butter.
jiffy.
We got store brand peanut butter most of the time. We didn't get no fucking Skippies. That
You get
pre-mixed
store
peanut
brand, you
butter
got
jelly
box brand
bullshit.
from a food bank.
Yeah, we
I've
did.
done that.
Dude, no,
Hey,
I actually
the
got
One
fucking
gallon
peanut butter-
peanut butter
I got
containers.
some dope ass peanut butter from a food
Fucking
bank.
oil
Dude,
sitting on
dude,
top.
No, I always got.
We used to
good
get a
food from the
cardboard
food bank.
box full of peanut butter every month, just right in the fucking box.
No,
Yeah,
dude,
well,
but-
and that's the thing though. You rip off the box, you dip it in the peanut butter, you have a couple legs, dip it right back.
No, dude,
Yeah, it's a food
I did get some food
Father's
from the
house.
food bank one time, and it was some Cocoa Puffs. This shit did not taste like no damn Cocoa Puffs, and I ate it. It literally tasted like fucking newspaper, like wet newspaper is what
Me
I
and
was eating.
Matthew-
I was like,
Me and Matthew used
I
to
went
get-
to
I was
the
like,
food
Grandma, I
bank.
Probably
can't
did have
eat this.
paper in it though.
I got a
Probably
box
has
like,
Grandma, I
with a
can't
bunch
eat
of
it.
like
It's a filler.
Like,
shit
she's
and-
like, is it
yeah.
gross?
Me
I
and
was
Matthew
like,
used to get food boxes all the time when we were kids, and legit, they would always give you one thing that doesn't match with anything. Like, why the fuck do I need cherry pie filling with nothing to make the fucking cherry pie? What do you want
Yeah,
me to
they
do
do
with
that
this
shit. Like they did with
Want me to
pumpkin pie
add
filling all
water
the
and
time.
just shove it in my mouth?
Yeah.
That was crazy. Yeah, they do that
That's
shit.
poor man's
That's how I-
Jello.
That's how I felt whenever like when I got them a couple times. It's like, oh, peanut butter, jelly, fucking powdered
Lube.
milk and stuff, and it's like and a can of beets. It's like, oh, thanks.
Yeah, no.
For
They
this
always
No,
give you
like-
something that
can
doesn't
of
match with
beets.
anything else. Here you go.
here's some pig hoops.
It's more genuine if you get a food box from a non-church funded area.
Yeah,
Because if you go to a
I
church
got
funded
food
area,
banks,
it's like
so-
I got peanut butter, oatmeal, lube, some of these bars.
They must be used together.
a pamphlet that says "Do not," that God doesn't want you to say what your priest did to you. Like it's just like a
Yeah.
bunch of shit that it's not useful.
they
I
always
got,
give you
I got
that
a little
pumpkin.
envelope with some cash, this little hush cash.
They always give you that pamphlet.
Look,
That was
my-
always like,
where's my
are you
$5
Little
bill?
happy?
hush money with a
$200.
picture of your priest and a
Yeah,
shirt
no,
on.
and the fucked up thing, it wasn't actual money. They just ripped a couple of the dollar food stamps off the little vouchers back in the
That
day.
is
Yeah.
a shitty
Joseph.
thing to include in your simulation, dude. Pedophilia.
Yeah.
What a
Pedophilia.
shitty fucking.
No, dude,
what?
that's what I want to know too. And also,
But they have to
farting.
be
What if
realistic.
farting isn't a
Let's
real
see what the
thing?
people do
In the real world,
when we make
farting's
them
not a
fuck
real
their
thing.
children.
You shit out your
There's
ass.
no
They thought
Oh my God.
farting would be the
No,
funniest
look,
thing in the
look
world.
at
to
North
do.
Korea. North Korea's living it within a simulation, pasta within a simulation. Their creator
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
fart
pretty
or
much.
shit or piss.
They don't know.
Believing a different subset of reality, which is actually very common, is
Yeah, and
kind
so,
of like
Nate,
an
yeah.
unofficial simulation. There's lots
Nate,
of
we
those
were-
happening.
Yeah, Nate, we were literally talking about the Bible earlier, how people are put on earth to decide, live a life of good or bad kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it's like, yeah, it's like,
Every time you start playing a D&D campaign, too, you got the same decision.
Yeah, it's like, God damn, dude.
How do you want to roll with this? You want to be good or bad? Dude, I always feel like super guilty. I don't know if you guys do. Like when I do bad shit in video games, I'm like, man.
I do
feel like
too. I'm
such a
just like, I wish I would have
scumbag.
done the right thing.
Well, you wouldn't
Yeah.
feel bad if you didn't know that
Like-
God was
like-
watching. God's
You
like,
know how
I
many
know
times I played
I know how you're
Fallout
playing your Mass
3?
Effect character.
No, dude.
Better
dude.
watch out, G.
Yeah, how many times I played
Watch out, man!
Fallout?
You're this close.
I'm tallying points from your D&D campaign. I'm tallying points.
You know how many times I've
It's a
played
point
Fallout
system.
3? And I've gotten to the point like where you get to the town and you have to decide whether you want to blow it up or fucking keep it alive.
Oh,
and I'm
yeah,
always
yeah.
like,
I'm
this is
fucking
the
gone.
this is the part where I go evil. This is where evil Casey comes out. I always fucking save the town. I think I blew it up one time and I didn't save. I
you
felt
can't
bad.
let
I was like, no, I
Tenpenny
can't
get-
do it.
Hey,
That's
it's
an
a-
interesting
well,
thing we could talk about. Like when we actually do go into
God
simulations
remembers
or,
these
or
choices.
RPGs, simulated stuff for us. Do we act how a regular person acts, or do we fucking go wild? I
Well,
don't know
I'll
how
tell you
to
this
fucking-
much.
Well,
I'll
I
tell you
do-
this
well,
We
much.
don't
it
act
depends
how a
on the-
regular
hey,
person acts.
Call,
It
call
depends
me
on the
crazy.
game, though.
Call me crazy, but here's a glitch in the
But
Matrix.
As far as
You-
like morality, not just fucking wasting people, but like
well,
morality.
when you
stuff,
play,
like we have to make a choice between good and evil.
When it comes to
You know-
choices, yeah.
well,
Yeah.
when you know when you play RPG games and you make a
Stealing, I
choice and
steal
it's like,
fucking everything.
Now you want to back off your mic a smidge?
oh, turn it up.
No, back off your get your mouth off of it.
Casey, you could probably turn up a smidge.
Yeah, in case you're
My
real
mic?
quiet.
Yeah, a
Um,
little bit.
Call me
How about
crazy, but
that a little better?
Perfect. Yeah.
Beautiful.
sometimes I see things. You know, like when you're playing an RPG and then you wrong somebody and it's like Stanley remembers this. I do
Oh, yeah.
realize.
What
I
is
swear,
that from?
the top right corner of my eyeball, I see God remembers this.
No, dude, it's fucked up because that's how I feel like when I do
Bro,
shit in
forget it.
Fallout, like
I'm
I'll be
gonna
robbing
change
these
the text,
motherfuckers.
though. I'm gonna get changed
I'll
to some motherfucker outside. Forget
like
about
in
it.
Fallout, I'll be robbing motherfuckers. I'll feel bad about it when I'm doing it, but I'm still gonna take their shit because
Yeah.
it's a rough
Yeah.
world out there. You know, we all gotta survive.
Hey, you're gonna
And,
use
uh,
their shit to better.
And
your
it's like
own.
every
Better
single
someone
time it
else's
makes
life.
that like depressing like zoom sound. You know, when you like your charisma lowers. Like yeah, it's
It
like
lets you
it's like
know
oh
you're a
you're a piece
scumbag.
of shit.
It lets you know you're a scumbag. Yeah, it's called the.
You are
scum-
less than
scumbag.
you were
Yeah.
when you came into this person's house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I always feel bad about that. I'm like, maybe I should return this stuff. Maybe it'll give me my points back.
Yeah. I do see, but that's another thing too. So like, on,
But then I
on,
just
like,
kill him, and
first
then I don't lose
playthroughs,
any points.
main playthroughs, and just like just what I'm more aligned with is like doing the right thing within the RPG scenario. But after you've done a simulation so many times, you become fucking evil because you just want to do all
Yeah.
the shit you didn't do.
Oh,
See,
and you didn't do
Groundhog
evil
Day.
shit.
Groundhog
Yeah.
Day. Bill Murray.
Exactly. Yeah.
Joe, put your phone
But
sideways.
yeah, I'm pretty sure every person here, when they like got on Red Dead or anything, probably went for a good fucking thing. And then after you play it multiple times or something like that, you just start just killing everything. You don't fucking care. You're
Well,
like, well, I already know all the
imagine-
good stuff that can happen.
If everyone was conscious
out now.
living in a simulation, it would literally be like Grand Theft Auto Lobby.
Oh yeah.
If
Fucking
everyone was
asshole.
conscious, if everyone was conscious that this was a simulation, people would live like so. A couple reasons. What if
you
it
go.
was a learning experiment? Unlikely scenario. Highly intelligent creatures or us in the future created a box that played through our lives. We're just living them out, and then these creatures are looking at them like, yeah, 5 years is 5 years to us. 5 years to them is like not even a second. Playing out kind of thing like that. They don't want us to know that's a simulation because we are in the simulation. If we know it's a simulation, we won't progress the way humanity used to progress. And if we knew it was a simulation, it would literally be a Grand Theft Auto lobby.
yeah.
You know, you have people being all doing crazy ass
Matthew.
shit. They're like, "Fuck this guy,"
Matthew.
and fucking, I'll kill this guy because what
I could
consequence?
honestly,
Hey, Matthew.
you bringing that up, I could see people in the future totally making simulations that like that is whole lives in the span
That
of a
was a
couple
theory.
minutes in order to fucking mine data
Yeah,
Yeah.
my
Why
data.
and
would we-
create
but-
algorithms.
let's
Because
take a
people,
step back
fucking
from that.
Facebook's already
Yes.
doing it.
Let's take a step
They're
back
just
from
doing
that
it in
and then
real
enter
time,
the-
not sped up.
Let's take a step back from that and enter the world of Gamer, that movie where they're using physical people and then fucking, yeah.
Oh my
You guys
god,
seen
yeah.
that movie, right?
As a
Yeah.
puppet.
Instead of doing it whatever, because there's that thrill of
That was
actual
fucked.
bloodshed.
They're all criminals
Yeah.
they're using, right?
Yeah, that criminals.
they
and
gotta,
shit,
like, fight for their
Gerard
freedom or
Butler's
whatever?
sexy ass.
Yeah.
It was like
Okay, yeah.
it was like a gaming death race kind of.
Yeah,
I-
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. And yeah, it's we need real bloodshed.
control the physical
Hey, I mean,
bodies
the,
too, and
the
that's totally
Romans
yeah.
fucking
But
did
What
it.
about
scientific
that?
realm.
Yeah,
What about
but
like
again-
Ready Player One?
do that.
You know, like that.
But
kind
I
of
think our
simulation.
technology is
Ready Player
better
One
off.
was just a fucking giant
technology's-
advertisement for every fucking.
I think it's like a sci-fi thing.
No,
Our
Yeah.
technology's
Ready
better
Player
off
One.
actually.
Russell, your
Ready Player
brother
One is
told
like
me-
you're living a crazy life in the game, and then you get out and you're
Yeah.
all sick and pale, and you eat a pizza real fast and hop back in.
You're fucking malnourished and about on the brink of death, but in the game
Yeah.
you're fucking
Casey,
you're the Rock
brother-
right, walking around with your big old dick swinging and shit.
Casey, your brother read the books of that, and he said the books. He said the books are so much better, or the book is so much better than the movie was.
That's
what
what
I've
everybody
heard, too.
says
Russell or
whenever they.
Nick?
When they
Uh,
Most
yeah.
things.
It's Russell, Kayla,
Also, I think-
actually, that
I
brother.
think the biggest problem with that book is
The biggest
it
brother.
was made when
brother of them
it was
all.
made at a different time.
No,
And so-
but the movie, I think the movie touches like character. I don't think all those characters are in the book. I don't know. I don't remember.
I think it would be a
movie
difficult movie to do
was
today
hijacked by
because
Steven Spielberg and just turned it into nostalgia porn.
I know that
Yeah.
they did the simplest, like, oh, nobody would like me because look what I was born with. That I think she was more hideous in the book than she was in that movie.
yeah, she didn't look like fucking Sloth from the Goonies.
Yeah,
I was kind of
dude.
disappointed.
Baby
but-
Ruth. No, dude,
but-
virtual reality. Get rid of
I
that
think-
Baby Ruth. Get
I
in this
think
world.
the-
Give me that Snickers bar with the dick.
I think
vein
the
in it.
idea was great, but a book like that doesn't really hold up with time as far as the whole story in its whole.
Matthew, pop
if
culture
a-
always holds with time. Most people remember pop culture references than they do any important historical event in
Well,
history.
That's
Like,
why they had to
ask me-
name
ask me
drop
about famous,
Master Chief,
Ask me about famous
Name
generals.
14
Overwatch characters.
presidents.
Yeah,
Name
yeah.
14
ask me,
presidents.
yeah,
Fuck
ask
that,
me
dude. I
14
couldn't even
presidents.
name like 10. I don't
Yeah,
think.
or ask me how many sex tapes have come out in the last 5 years. Like I'm gonna
At
tell
least
you,
50.
yeah,
Probably
or
way more than I
celebrity
think.
sex tapes, whatever.
My
Only
18th
several
birthday-
more than I've
every,
seen.
Ask me every position Ray J put Kim Kardashian in, and I'd be able to tell
My-
you that before I could tell you
my
how many.
my 18th birthday is
President,
floating around on
yeah.
the internet somewhere.
Your
Just
18th
look up my
birthday?
name and type in 18 and abused.
Oh my god. Oh my god, dude.
He's on a website, raw and uncut.
Raw and uncut. Well, actually,
Dude,
yeah,
you were
you're
hella
right.
heard.
You're right.
Matthew, you
You're
were hella
right.
heard of that because only
It's not filmed in
That
Israel
was
though.
not a
It's
simulation,
blocked
that
in
was real.
Israel. That was real.
Well, only because you yelled Allah's name as you,
Yeah.
That's the only reason it got banned.
after you get ass blasted.
Oh shit.
Well, I do it as I thought it would be appropriate to yell after every explosion.
All right, you guys, let's take a quick little break. We'll be right back.
Yo, dude, you need to try out fucking Bean Emerald Productions, dog. Okay, we do stop motion animation. We got a film in the Nuga Festival out of like Tennessee or Alabama, one of those other states you don't give a shit about. And then we got another one in another hole in the head that's out of San Francisco. And boom, 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 we got a feature-length film we're going to be filming this summer, live action finally, since we do a lot of stop motion. But come and enjoy our shit on Bean Emerald Productions. That's on YouTube, or bean.emerald.productions on Instagram.
And now we're back, brother. Let's hear a little bit about Democritus.
Yeah, yeah, that was beautiful, Joseph. No, but I guess Democritus, he built his philosophy on materialism, on the assumption that atoms are eternal, indestructible, and the only things that really exist. He states that all things only exist because they are made from atoms. Following this logic, you believe that consciousness is a product of physical process of the brain.
Well, yeah, that's when you're going to what's the mind without a brain? What's the mind without without the brain kind of thing? It's when you push psychology
anybody
is
ever had,
nothing without biology.
Has anybody ever had the whole like somatic detachment kind of fucking thing where they feel like they're outside of their body? They can see them doing stuff, but they don't
An
really
LSD.
feel like they're doing it. Because
Astral
I've had
projection.
well, no, it's
No. Okay, so
I forget what it's
I've
called.
had
but
that
it's,
when I've had like a panic attack and shit like that.
yeah,
like-
I've had it. I've had it just dealing with people when you're in such a routine that you can legit.
Oh,
sometimes
like
it is
fucking
brought
going on
like,
autopilot. Yeah.
Yeah, but also with anxiety attacks and stuff like that, panic attacks, like it almost feels like you're outside of your body watching yourself do shit. Like I don't feel any of that. It's like I'm talking to people, but I'm not talking to people. I don't register it, like, but I do register it. Like I'm watching myself, like I'm two different people watching myself do something. I don't know how to explain it exactly.
I
know
think
Well,
what
if you
you're
hit
talking
start, if you hit start and you go into settings and you go back to first person, you should be fine.
Yeah, you fucking noob. You piece of shit. No, I do like not like that, Joseph, but like so I'll be driving down
It's
the I'll be driving down the
depersonalization.
Joseph so
Depersonalization, derealization disorder.
so like I'll be driving down the freeway and then I'll just concoct some imaginary accident that I've been in and I'm on the brink of death. And then
No,
I'm
talking
calling my
about
wife
as
to let her
as
know.
it's but I'm talking
I
about
let
as
her
it's
know,
actually happening.
like what's going down. Like this is all going on in my head. And then I get upset about it. I'm like, oh man, now I'm actually getting upset. Like, what if this
man,
actually
that's
happened?
funny.
You know?
I know
I'm talking
that
about actually.
experience. That's
I'm talking
interesting.
about actually being in a situation right there as it's going on, and actually being detached from yourself. Like the
No,
feeling
see-
of being detached as a situation is going on. Like you are physically doing it, not a hypothetical. Like it is actually going
No,
on.
that's
And
what
you
I was
are,
saying.
People
that's
do
what I
that
was-
with
like,
anxiety.
overwatching
It's
the
an
whole
it's
fucking
an
thing.
anxious thing.
That's what I was saying,
Well,
Joseph.
that's
I never
the
felt
thing.
something like that, but I was just trying to give you an
Escape thing,
example of something that
Yeah.
I felt like somewhat like that, but it's not like what
It
you were
is-
saying, you know?
Depersonalization is described as feeling disconnected or detached from oneself. Individuals may report feeling as if they are outside observers of their own thoughts or body. That's what I'm talking about. That
I feel
actually
like that's
fits
like
the thing
astral
perfectly.
projection, you know what I
I
mean?
Yeah,
feel
but
like
I get that.
That's what I was
literally
joking about,
Literally, especially when I'm at work or anywhere in public, a lot of times that I get that. Like when I'm
It's-
doing something, I
it's
feel
from
outside
anxiety.
of myself doing it. Yeah, but I mean, it's a whole fucking like thing. I mean, you guys know who Vinny Paws is, the rapper. Like that's actually when I first heard the term of it, depersonalization. Like he feels most interactions he has with people are like that, and that's what I felt like I related with because I didn't know the name of it, but sometimes I felt like I was outside of myself watching myself do shit, and it always happened with overthinking it, or it felt like I was just overthinking things. It's like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? Kind of like just watching it. Oh, and one of the things here says interpersonal trauma such as child abuse. Oh, it's thought
yeah,
to be
your dad did
caused by
touch you.
largely- Okay,
Yeah, you were molested.
I was looking up the actual terms. I've never actually
by
looked it
another
up.
person on this
But
podcast, your brother.
like the definition of it. When I deal with like
Three
groups of
other people on this podcast.
small groups of people, I still feel like I'm detached from it. There was a reason why this was brought up. I can't fucking remember why.
Well, the abuse still keeps going on, so I wouldn't let
You're
go
trying
either.
to ask for help.
Well, the
No,
origin of
Casey-
consciousnly coming from the
okay,
mind is what
Casey,
he brought up.
Casey said something, and
Every time
like,
he asks for
I
help,
only
he
brought
opens his
this
mouth,
up
and every time he
because-
opens his mouth,
Well, because I said,
Another
I
instant
said because
occurs.
we only exist because we're made of atoms, so consciousness
Yeah,
is
and then
only
you
a
said-
product of physical processes of the brains.
so
I
you
think
know
that's
how
what
you
you
Yeah,
were
were
saying.
yeah, that's what I was
detached.
saying. Was this?
Well-
This is like being in two places at once.
Yeah,
is why I
and
brought
then
it
the
up,
whole thing
because
is-
what you said.
well,
Like I didn't
Casey's
bring it
saying,
up out of
yeah.
nowhere. I brought it up because you said that. And
Yeah,
then-
and Casey's
yeah.
saying when it comes to like so what is mental? So what is consciousness? Consciousness, it's something that kind of happens in your brain that creates consciousness. So it's almost just as physical as it is mental kind of thing. Mental is just a way to describe on it. We have no other explanation for it. You know, it's not
Yeah, and I was
physical.
talking
Mental's
about
not
being
physical.
in a physical and,
And it's
mental
just
place
like-
in two different.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
so bring it back to
I
Doctor
thought, well,
Strange.
one thing is
when
like when it comes
they
to
do the
like
astral
psychology,
projection
it's
shit, yeah.
well, when it comes to psychology ain't shit if it isn't biology, you know. Psychology is just it's just what happens after biology. And so that's the main thing.
Those
It's
were
just
the
like-
mating noises of Nate.
Aw.
So, like, your
That's better than
perception
mine. I
can
go,
be
"Ooh,
altered
ooh, ooh,
physically. It's like your mental, your consciousness can be altered with physical substance.
Yeah, that's actually pretty
For
interesting
sure it
because
can.
the way that you think, the way that you act, and your personality can all change by physical alterations to your brain, like by having a concussion, or that dude that got the
Exactly.
railroad spike blown through his head with a piece of dynamite and survived.
Yes.
Became an asshole.
Different movie.
He was
was
all right
video.
before. Now he's
They're
an asshole.
chemical
He's an asshole ever
alterations
since he
as
got that
well.
railroad spike shot through his head.
Can we just agree on one thing that
Yeah, because now
anybody
he's
cares
asking.
about-
Because now he's just asking for GoFundMe donations. It's like I think it's kind of fucked
He's
up.
on Kickstarter. He keeps posting
this
on my
guy?
wall.
Can we just agree on one thing though? That you
Load
can
the
make up
fuck
the
out of
most
it.
ridiculous theory, and there's no reason that it couldn't be a possibility. Like I'm just saying,
It's
I'm not
possible.
saying that this is like whatever, but it's like
If it
always take
exists, it
everything with a
exists.
grain. Yeah, take something like take everything with a grain of salt, like kind of thing. Because it's like I can say that we're all fucking actually alphabets in a fucking giant universal bowl of alphabet soup, and there's no way you can prove that wrong. Like there's no fucking
Just
way.
promise to eat the D first.
So let's
Oh, and that's behind the
Plato.
scenes versus what you can witness.
But I'm not completely
you're saying I
saying
can't
that- I'm
prove
not
it wrong
ruling-
because obviously if we just look at shit, you're gonna be like, yeah, no, that's not right. But
Yeah.
but it's like
It's
yeah,
something-
behind the
it's-
scenes, what's really happening behind
But
what we
like-
think is happening.
Yeah, like
Exactly.
there's just so many different like fucking things. Like with this, like with other people, would be like, no, that's not possible. Like I think it's like, oh, it's 1 in a billion chance of being likely. So why? So it's like 1 in a billion chance that this is what it is.
What
The
is that
simulation. It's
sound?
like, why do scientists?
Hey, Joseph, hold on a sec. What's that
What is
noise?
that?
I don't know.
It's something on
Sounds like
Matthew's
things
end.
sorting.
Is it on mine?
Yes.
Oh
Fuck,
yeah.
turn down.
You're super loud.
Oh, how'd that happen?
All right, Black Hole.
Hello, hello,
With
hello.
your voice.
Oh, that's bad.
Why'd you turn your decibels up, Matthew?
I didn't turn anything. It was. I didn't do anything. I was.
I'm just
yelling
saying.
at
I'm
Oh,
just
you're
trying to
saying
say
on
you're
your desk.
on the website there. Your
Hello.
decibels went up to
you.
15
Hello.
plus.
Yeah, dude. I didn't do anything. My shit's
That was
been
weird.
regular.
Matthew's
Yeah,
about
I
to
think
say
it's
some
just a glitch.
fucking
I thought he was some
Simulation.
kind of
extraterrestrial
demon.
shit.
I thought you
I'm
were
just
fucking
saying,
with us
though-
because you're sitting there smiling, Matthew. So I was like,
I'm
"What are you
smiling 'cause I'm
doing?"
listening to everyone else. I'm just listening
Everything,
to- everyone's having
everything
fun.
is out for like
I was just
perceptive
having
views.
fun.
Like what we're
I have
talking
my
about
hands
right
over here on
now.
my beer. I'm just
Hey.
like over here.
What we're talking about right now is fucking would sound ridiculous to somebody that's like, oh, you're just copying this from the Matrix. That's so stupid. It's a fucking movie by two people that were men then turned to women. Like there's not.
Hey, no, they were living in a simulation. They took the red pill, and they.
What
and
was the
then
one
they
character's name?
discovered who
Shift
they
or
truly were.
Switch or something? She was supposed
Switch.
to be a yeah. She was supposed to be like a male in the real world and then switch to a woman in the Matrix, but they wouldn't let them do that. So they made her look very
That would have been a really good
what's
concept.
the word? Yeah,
I'm
no,
saying
it
that
would
would've
have been really
Androgynous.
cool.
That-
Yeah, they made her
yeah.
look really yeah,
That
that you
would've been
couldn't tell
amazing.
if she was like
It's so
male or
stupid they
female
didn't do
really
that.
because they were
Yeah.
Warner
That
Bros.
would
wouldn't
actually
let
been a
them
really
do it
good-
or whoever
yeah.
the fuck did Matrix. I
Yeah,
think it
it's
was
because they're
Warner
Warner Bros, dog.
Bros. Yeah, they're not Warner. They're not Warner.
Not
them.
Warner those.
Yeah, Warner them. It's Warner those.
Hey, Matt.
It's
Oh,
one of
God,
they
this
thems.
But I'm just
my-
saying. I'm just saying the alphabet. That soup
Am I
thing I said
good?
was ridiculous. But I'm
good?
just saying
More.
that everything
Little
is
bit
about
more?
fucking perception
Hello?
of people.
Hello?
Like
Right
not
there.
everybody.
I just turned it
We can
back
hear
to
you.
where it was just as when you guys told me to turn it down.
Yeah,
Matthew,
you sound
Like
good
I
now.
said,
Well, it's because you fucking spiked hella, and then like I couldn't hear you when you just last talked.
Yeah, because I
Not-
turned
I-
it down from
Not
when I
not as
spiked.
soon as someone was like answering or talking with you, I couldn't hear you at all.
Oh,
you know.
that's so weird. It's our system because
but
I
I'm
turned
just
it.
saying, like
I turned
when-
it down
when-
and I just turned it back to when I had it before.
When I
'Cause it
bring up
spikes without me
multiverse
touching
shit,
the dial. It's analog.
when I talk to people about like multiverse shit, when I'm like, I believe there's like endless like possibilities, like realities and shit. They'll be like, well, that sounds crazy, and then you're like, well, is it any more crazy than believing there's a fucking god that created you? Like, it all sounds far fetched. Like none of it.
well, like,
Yeah,
okay, so
existence versus non-existence is like,
Yeah.
wow, why would anything exist?
Yeah, it's just all fucking crazy. You
But how do
can't
you
rule out
perceive
anything.
non-existence?
You cannot
You
100%
don't. There's
rule
no
out
perception.
anything.
Nothing
Yeah,
exists.
exactly. It's hard.
But
You
in
can't
that
do it.
spoil-
we only have
spoiler
one
alerts
realm
again
of
with the-
perception, and that's existing.
Spoiler alerts again
True.
with the Doctor Strange thing. There's like a fucking universe where they're made of paint. Like there's not fucking. It's like you can't rule out anything because anything's fucking possible in the Marvel comics. Cyclops' optic blast come. His eyes are a portal from a universe where the laws of Newton doesn't exist. That's
Really?
literally what his power is. His
That's pretty
beams
dope,
come
actually.
from
It's intense.
his beams
So it's
come from a
infinite
universe
laser.
where the laws of Newton's does not exist.
So it's infinite
He
laser.
should be really glad that his like fucking
Yeah.
portals in his eyes don't come from a universe where nothing but cum exists.
Yeah. I am come on. Quit coming towards me. I'll never stop coming.
The money shot. Hello.
Yeah.
Oh my
The money
god.
I'd
shot
hate
had
to
this
do it.
ultimate move.
I'd hate
money
to be
shot.
his optometrist. Could you imagine his
Cyclops.
optometrist?
How come your head smells like bleach, dude?
Hey,
Why is he such a sexist? Why is he such a sexist, misogynistic pig? He can't have a female in the room unless he's fucking them.
Another note,
If
I
he
was-
looks at you, he will be fucking you, unless you are fixed.
I told my optometrist, or sorry, my coworker. I was talking about like because we were watching. We watched this little bit on Chappelle. It was like a super inappropriate bit of if America separated itself from like gay people and then straight people kind of thing. You know, super fucked
Nice.
up. But we were talking about it, and I was like, yeah, dude, I'm gonna make an optometrist, and I'm gonna call it gays, guys. And then you're gonna look through the thing. Welcome to gays, guys, and better or worse? Better or worse? You said that was better, honey. That top was green with the blue pants did not match. That's worse. Someone needs glasses.
Oh, I'm reading about a new superconductor.
Oh, nice.
Oh, is that the one that they're working on that they've gotten it to work? Either they figured out how to do it not under extreme pressures or not under extreme cold. Either one or the other. They haven't figured out how to do both yet.
Yeah. So this one it's at lower temperatures than they expected, but it has it's lower temperature as well.
It's still really fucking cold, right?
It's gotten closer to room temperature by like further than it's ever been, and this is like culmination of like 15 years of research. What is the name of the researcher actually that released this? Zijin Shen, the Stanford professor.
Me and Matt talked about this a little bit ago.
Bringing quantum computing to there's actually a new movie that came out. This relates slightly just to the kind of like the idea of within our world like creating the simulation. There's a movie that recently came out called Lapsus. I believe it's 2021 maybe, and it's about these people who are like getting kind of used by companies to do quantum cabling, and they basically run cable through like miles and miles of forest, and like anytime you walk through the woods, you can just see like fucking cables on the ground, and they lead to these giant like magnetic cubes, and that's what transports the computing.
I believe it's Lapras, and you can use him for surf.
You can use him for Ice Beam too. He's really good against Blaine.
Yeah.
Ice water type Pokemon.
To tie the superconductor into the simulation theory, if in the Matrix the machines did have superconductors, I mean those human batteries could work. I mean, there's no loss.
Oh
of
yeah,
energy.
because a
It's
smaller
only
amount of
creating.
energy could be
Yeah.
used. Yeah.
There's no loss of energy from transporting the energy, so it's just creating it.
Yeah.
And that's our biggest problem right now. It's one of the reasons
we lose
solar
like
and everything.
90% right now, something like that.
Well, yeah. Getting energy is not the problem.
It traveling.
Like retaining energy is the problem.
Yeah.
But using a human battery doesn't make any sense because like at least in the simulation version because the human mind it's really hard to think that a human mind can be downloaded into the computer just because of a couple of reasons because of personality and like what Casey was saying earlier is a consciousness is just as much physical. The mind is just as much the mind is just as much physical as the brain is. Because Mike, I think you're a little low.
Am I? Oh, I'm sorry. I leaned back in my chair. Is that better?
Okay. Yeah, a lot better. And so pretty much because you can alter. So downloading a consciousness into the computer it seems like it's legit, except for like what's a consciousness, what's a personality of a person besides every action's a reaction. And so you have the human body because a lot of people think the brain is the thing that comes up with the decisions and the consciousness and the making, but your brain is influenced by it's influenced by the bladder, it's influenced by the stomach, it's influenced by the gut. literally the
trillions
gut
of
is known as
neurons
the
throughout your
yeah
body.
trillions of neurons.
Yeah.
A body is literally just a bunch of cells all working together. So the brain is not even. You can't take a fucking brain and expect it to work like a personality does, because the whole thing is people get like I like to use the term hangry. It's funny, I don't ever use that term, but when people are
I like
angry
to
when
use
they're
the term
hungry,
hangry, but I don't use that term.
Brain.
I don't use that term because I think it's kind of dumb. But when people are like, oh, I'm a little bit agitated because I'm hungry. I'm a little bit agitated because I lost sleep. I'm a little bit agitated in this. This person's lifestyle influences and sometimes almost puts a permanent code onto their mentality, and that's the way they work. That's their personality. When you kind of judge people and how they would act in situations, and it's judged by their lifestyle and what their body can cope with, not just their brain, but their body can cope with. And so
That's all
if you
basis
were
of
to
survival.
download-
The brain.
exactly.
If you do not have food, it's gonna say, "Hey, go get that food and try as hard
exactly.
as you can." 'Cause
So
I'm gonna make
I
you feel
guarantee
terrible until you do.
if you download, I guarantee if you download,
But it's like if
100
you're fed, if you're just completely in stasis, why would
Fed-
your brain
okay.
act off of those impulses?
they wouldn't, and so it wouldn't be much of a brain because your brain wouldn't know what to do. Your brain is expected to be hungry. If your brain doesn't have, I'm gonna be hungry, it won't know what to do. It's kind of like one of those things. It's like
Unless-
How
your
do you
body
know
in
the
this-
brain doesn't just waste
Your body-
resources saying that
Unless the
we're
simulation
hungry?
is
Well,
tied into your feeding tubes and shit like that.
Yeah,
To
exactly.
where when you
but
eat in
we
the
know
simulation, it feeds you.
it's a problem. So it's like the epidemic with drugs, like the oxytocin kind of thing. It's like if your brain has too much of a good thing, it doesn't know how to work anymore. So how does your brain know how to
Yeah,
regulate
you stop
itself?
making
It's like
dopamine.
your brain has to be starved to a degree in order for it to work. So your brain, to be able to copy your brain into a computer, does not make any sense.
I think so.
Unless-
too. Okay.
Unless
like
you
to
can
add
copy your liver into a computer, you can copy your heart. You can copy literally a human body. You have to. Sorry, this little son of a bitch.
Yeah, but why can't you just create a code, a program to mimic a human heart, to mimic a human liver, mimic
You
a
can.
human
And
stomach?
then
Why
at
can't
that
you
point-
create that?
And then at that point, how much battery are you fucking spend? How much energy are you spending to create that?
Well-
versus how much energy
Okay,
are you
Matthew.
getting out of that?
Okay, but you can
remember,
play-
some
if we're keeping the
motherfuckers are on
Matrix as
Social
a base-
Security and they're not moving an inch. And
Okay,
how much
so if we're-
how much energy are they creating?
If we're still
I think
keeping the
only-
Matrix as sort of a baseline for this argument, if they did
It's a
have
baseline, but
superconductors,
no,
which is the
least
thing
likely
that,
scenario
Guys,
though.
that's why I
Yeah,
brought
but
up-
still,
Wait,
like,
let's see
if
what
they
Mike's
did
gonna
have-
say.
if
I
they
brought
did have
up the-
superconductors, which is highly likely in that movie because they do have hovercraft, which you
Yeah.
need a
There's
superconductor
better
to make a
well,
hovercraft.
In
So-
Matrix,
They
there's
also
better.
have
There's
60
better.
cave
You
effector
won't
sources
lose as
of
much
What
energy
else were you
using a
talking about?
superconductor than
You're
if
better off. You're better off reaching for the sun than you are creating a hive.
We've
working 8
reached the sun,
matrices
Matthew.
over.
We've gone
No,
to the
but
sun,
he's talking about
boy.
the Matrix, the Matrix thing.
Why
They went
the
over
human
the
body's
clouds.
not
Why
worth
can't
an
they fucking
energy
do that?
it costs. The human
not
body
according to
is
the
thing,
Rick
a.
and
like-
Morty's that.
if you're not losing energy.
Rick and Morty is ridiculous
you-
sci-fi shit that they thought was funny and just added into things. It's not as smart as people think it is, really.
Sci-fi is just
Like, not all of
self-projection.
it, but I'm saying some
Yeah.
of the shit is just like ridiculous funny
Joseph,
shit.
you only say that because you're not smart enough to get it.
You're not, motherfucker, you smoke weed and you're like, oh my god, the government is this godly entity that does everything
Hey,
behind the
guys,
curtain.
guys,
Like, there's a
The
fucking-
government
human
is
body-
the enemy.
A
That-
human
that-
Yeah, but
body.
I'm saying that the government is not fucking Cthulhu that's
A
hovering over
human
the
body
fucking
would
world
never
like
work
everybody
as
thinks.
Right, it's
a
like six
Casey,
Cthulhu.
as
the
a
fact that the
battery.
Morty thing makes
Just
no
saying.
sense. It is literally a joke about Morty's dumbness radiates some kind of energy that blocks off all the smart cells. It's a joke.
No, but
that, like, if we're talking about the Matrix and we're using the Matrix for example, if the humans have technology that the robots actually purposely allowed humans to have that technology, the robots are totally aware of everything that the humans are doing, and they give Neo an ultimatum: save the humans or save the Matrix. They choose the Matrix every time. It says it in the thing. You choose the Matrix every time. They use Neo as a tool to basically, when you companies hire hackers to hack their system, so that way they can build their system better. Neo is basically that tool, and they know that he ultimately, in the end, chooses to save the people every time. And so people have the technology to rise above the clouds. The machines have the technology to build the beam above the clouds, create solar energy again, kind of thing like that. A human body what it takes to simulate it so it doesn't wake up, because they've had like 7 or 8 matrices before kind of thing, and they use Neo as like, Neo actually works for the machines. He doesn't know it, but he does work for the machines.
The Matrix idea is
He's a test
asinine
Yeah,
as fuck.
it just and so it doesn't make any sense, but like I like
Matrix
the
thing makes no
it's a great
sense.
idea. It's a great idea. It's a great idea.
Well,
That the whole simulation theory, it's a great idea, and that's, but it's like a human body's not a good battery. It's a shitty battery because
What
it's
I'm
a
saying is,
selfish
like,
battery.
If whatever entity or being was using us as batteries had technology we didn't have, like superconductors and just a whole bunch of shit that can collect
If
energy
they
way
have
better
the,
than
if
we
they have the
can.
technology to create a
No.
whole fucking like
You know
universe
what'd
of
be-
fucking whatever, couldn't they find a way to make a fucking tower out to get like solar energy? Like
This
from
is
fucking,
here. If
we
the
already
Matrix was real life,
simulate.
you know what would be a
uh,
cheaper solution to simulate? If Matrix was real life, we'd all be in a wheelchair. We all would be locked in. We'd all be in prison. We'd all be locked inside a simple room so our minds can expand beyond the confines.
Could we just be
We'd
those
all be
fat guys
stuck in
from
there,
Wall
It
and
Street?
doesn't
would be
necessarily
cheaper
have
to
to
the
be the
simulation.
Matrix. It doesn't
It would be a
necessarily.
cheaper
We have
render.
to.
No, it just
We don't have to be in that Matrix scenario. I don't think we're in that Matrix scenario. I feel like we're in a simulation
don't
inside
think-
of a simulation. Like there's a base reality, and then our
I
simulation
don't believe
is
we
rendered
could be
from
if
that.
we're in a simulation. I don't believe that we're actual physical like anything. We're just
Exactly
NPCs.
that. I don't think we are either. I feel like
Well,
we're
yeah,
just
that's
we're
the only
just
thing that makes
data
sense.
basically.
Pacing for someone that said I'm not fucking smart enough to whatever.
Nate, do you have any take on this?
Well, on whether or not like we're actual physical things or not.
Well, here let me
Yeah.
give you guys this real
Let's
quick
get your
about
notes
Plato.
from fucking the government's YouTube. Like
Plato.
whatever. Like you're
Yeah.
so anti-government, but yet you go on everything the government lets you see files
I
of.
would
That's
say
Hunter
that
Biden's
the,
iPad.
The whole anti-government thing is contradictory in itself. You're allowed to see what the government lets you see, but that is truth. So it's like if the government told you that aliens exist, like, oh shit, they do exist. No, wait, the government told me they exist. That means they don't exist? Oh, fuck. Computer overload. Error, error, error. Like, you can't be completely anti-government with every fucking thing.
Oh, you can totally be anti-government with everything.
No, but then that means that aliens don't exist because they said recently, yeah, there were aliens. Like, then that means that fucking...
that doesn't mean they don't exist. It just means that it's no longer benefited them to keep the secret.
Yeah, I know,
There
but I
you
mean,
go.
if you're
Thank
saying
you.
that the government always lies, that they never tell the truth ever, I'm saying that it's like
well, dude,
if
that's
your whole
harping
fucking
too much
thing-
on a single point, dude. Some people just say dumb shit like that.
Well,
Like,
no,
you can
because
never say a blanket statement.
you're not
like
in our
that and believe
conspiracy,
it.
like in our conspiracy fucking like group thing. When I say that, oh, okay, people are saying the government was involved in something stupid, and it's like, well, how do you know they weren't? And it's like they're not involved with every little dumb thing. Some things are just too ridiculous they wouldn't benefit from. Like if they did lie
Like
about aliens.
circuses.
I'm saying though that if you always say the government always lies, if you deal in complete, if you deal in
Those are
complete,
silly.
if you deal in complete like whatever, like everything the government says is a lie. It's like not everything the government says is a lie. A lot of shit is. But I'm
Yeah,
saying you
see, I
can't
don't believe
I think
in
it's better to just err
absolution.
on the side to not believe anything they say.
Yeah, so
that?
like say yeah, that's what I feel. I don't
but
trust the government
anytime
because
I
they're a
say
bunch
whatever,
of cunts.
Casey, you said that one
Exactly.
time. You were like, "Oh, so you don't believe the government's lying?" It's like I don't believe they're lying all the fucking time.
All right.
guys, let's change
know the
the tone back to a bunch of
dude.
ones
This
and
is
zeros. Binary code now.
So let me
It's
let me
crazy.
tell you about Plato, you guys. Let me tell you about Plato real quick. So
Salty? Don't
yeah,
eat it.
yeah, no, dude, that shit's so
Play
fucking
school
gross.
grandchildren
No,
fucking thing.
I used to have because Bugs Life is my favorite Disney movie, you know. So I used to have like a Play-Doh Bugs Life set. You know, you get the squeeze in, then like Flick's hair, like his antennas would come out and shit. But anyway, sorry,
Is that
sorry
your
about
uke?
Yeah.
Nice.
that. Nice, that's sexy. So Plato, he built his philosophy on idealism, on the assumption that the basic underlying structure of everything isn't the atom, but it's abstract mental forms that determine objects' properties. He believed that basically everything that we see, we create, basically is like a dream. Like what we process in a dream is like how reality actually is.
Oh, like the allegory of the cave, right?
I don't know what that is. What is that?
Oh, that's I believe. Wait, so let me make sure that that's Plato. Okay.
Okay.
Nate about to learn us today. No?
Yeah,
Let me
fucking.
just make sure I'm with the right. Yeah. So that's him. So the idea with the allegory of the cave, it's kind of like so here's I would rather read something than try to like hobnobble what I remember.
Yeah, understandable.
Yeah, so the people, okay, so it describes a group of people who've lived chained to the walls of a cave for their entire lives, right? And they're just facing a blank wall. They see nothing. Essentially, you can imagine this
Oh,
just you
yeah, yeah.
being with your eyes closed.
I remember
And
this. Yep.
the people watch shadows that are projected on a wall from objects passing in front of a fire that's behind them. They give names to the shadows. The shadows are the only prisoner's reality, but they're not accurate representations of what's happening in the real world. Shadows represent the fragment of reality that we can normally perceive through our senses, while the objects under the sun or behind the fire represent the true forms of objects that we can only perceive through reasoning.
I love
Just
that.
like, yeah.
Yep. I remember reading
that's
that.
Casey,
Yeah.
that's what Casey was describing too.
Yeah.
Just,
And both of us touched on perception earlier with the perceiving reality, and how you can't perceive what is not
Yeah.
there.
In fact, everything's upside down too. I mean, that's another
Yeah.
interesting thing. Like our brains invert the image of everything around us to look right side up, but it's actually upside down.
Well, let me ask you guys this something. I just want to know, because I asked my brothers and sisters about this, occasionally.
Unless you're a pigeon.
So, like, when you're at a stoplight and you're in the turn lane, you got your blinker on. It's blinking. And then you got the car in front of you blinking their blinker and the car behind you, ideally, if everybody has their blinker on. But if you look at your blinker, like, your blinker will be going one speed, their blinker will be going another, oscillating. But if you focus on one light, they'll sync up with each other. Besides Mustangs that have those three lights that go sideways, but like the regular blinks, they'll sync up with each other. If you just focus on one of them, they'll all, like, even your inside light, your, like, where your arrow is, your blinker, their blinker will all sync up.
Hold on, does that actually
I
work?
haven't noticed that.
Yes, I swear to God. Next time you're out there and you're
really a
driving,
thing?
yes, it is. Like, I was educating my brothers and sisters about this.
How long does it, like,
Just a few seconds. It just, like, you
Everything
just
syncs
focus
up?
on it and it'll go,
That-
and if you stop focusing on it, it'll back to oscillating.
That's
But if
a
you
weird
focus
trick
on
of
it,
the brain then, because
yeah,
that
it's your
shouldn't
brain
work.
doesn't
It's
like
probably not
inconsistent
moving at the same
patterns.
thing, and then things in the distance.
Your brain fixes it. Your brain fixes
Don't-
it,
you
so
sh-
it
you
makes it more sequenced because your brain doesn't like out of sequence things.
crazy?
Yeah, but then again, things farther away, it should be like cascading, because you see stuff farther away slower than you see stuff closer to you, or the time that stuff takes to travel. It's just weird. That's a weird
Yeah.
trick of the brain. There's no way that should work. It's weird. I don't know.
Yeah, next time you go fucking drive and just look at the blinkers. Look at the fucking blinkers.
I don't know. All I'm thinking is, like, have you ever been to a fucking concert and you see the fucking crowd move? Like, if you're in the distance or in the back or something like that, it's a fucking wave. You see people up front jump first because they're going with the sound, and the sound takes a while to get to the back. I don't know. That's weird. That's how I thought about the lights, though, when you said that. It's like, that shouldn't fucking work. Even if they were all linked up, that shouldn't fucking work.
Yeah,
that
check it
well.
out,
There should be a
man.
little difference. Not that fucking light takes that long, but still.
Yeah, check it out. I'm telling you, it's fucking crazy. I've been telling my brothers and sisters this since, like, high school is when I first told Nikki and Russell about it.
The hardest thing is trying to figure out if, it's like, it's difficult because it's like, is your brain getting used to the whole thing with simulation? It's like, oh, that's a weird, deja vu. Take a look at deja vu. It's like, that's a weird thing, but it's like, I think what Nate was saying earlier, that it's like your brain was already anticipating it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it happened, and then so in some way some euphoric way of like, oh shit, that made sense. It should have happened like that, without actually without even doing the actual any work behind it, and it just happened like that.
Yeah, and it's also like, imagine your mind, your perception too, because, like, you couldn't imagine, like when it comes to a tumbleweed, when you thought about the tumbleweed, Like, imagine if you had actually, like, if there have been tumbleweeds that have crossed your path many times, and you just haven't noticed them because you're fucking texting while you're driving, or you're talking to your friends or your brothers and sisters in the car or some shit like that. Like, they've been around, and maybe you're even aware of them, but only, like, indirectly. And I wonder if you'll notice more now, because like it's that situation too. Our brain does reward us for being able to recognize things, and like I mean that obviously sounds like a coincidence, and it also could be like a like an event of like something being spawned, like an NPC or some shit like that. Just a tumbleweed spawned right there at that moment. You're like, oh,
fuck that tumbleweed. There's a flaming chicken if you dig like about 20 feet below. There's a flaming chicken right there that spawns tumbleweed.
Going to the quote that Nate quoted earlier, if we really did live in a simulation, you guys, you said the tumbleweed, the lights, or whatever. If we really did live in a simulation, that's all we knew, just like the cave, the people in the cave. How the fuck would you know? That's the only thing you've ever seen.
Unless you left it, and that's another part. That's like the end part.
You
of
can
the
only
allegory of the
perceive what you
cave.
have perceived before.
Yeah. So they say like if somebody had left the cave, they would first be blinded by the sunlight, and it would feel like how they felt if the fire had ever turned off inside of the cave. Yeah. Like you're just blinded, you don't see anything at all. Then everything refocuses, and I mean, what the fuck is this? And you walk back into the cave, and now it's so dark that it's like you're blinded again. And when your eyes adjust and you try to explain what you saw to the other people who are chained up, they would have no idea what you were talking about, or their understanding that you gave them would still just be from their own ability to perceive things within the confines of their entire existence.
Mm-hmm.
Not to
I've heard that theory
if
with
something
like the
so out of the ordinary
kind of
to what if something so out of the ordinary to what you have always seen, like you said, the fire going out, you would freak the fuck out. I'm sure if like the fire went out and that's all they've ever seen or felt on their backs, they thought they'd probably died.
That's it.
You know,
this is it. Like, we're done for.
Yeah, that's interesting. You mentioned death too, because like that's probably the closest that we get to like leaving the simulation. If this is just the simulation, then would be near-death experiences and psychedelic experiences are probably like our close, and then dreams, of course. But
when honestly, if we did live in an experience or a simulation, then when you do shrooms, you are definitely moving to 4K. Like, you're just like, holy shit! Look at this resolution.
Oh, fucking waves and symbols. Like, oh, that shit's all been there before, hasn't it been? It's just always there.
You really do feel in touch with the fucking code at that point.
Yeah. I know. Imagine that, dude. If like the code is just written in like fractal geometry or some shit, you know, it's like it's
crazy
not the
thing
way we would perceive it as like linear lines of code with like symbols that each mean individual things, but like a huge fragmented network that creates a whole, and the individual parts don't even have names or values.
Exactly. No, and that's a theory with simulation as well. Is like things are going accordingly to math, like. Kind of thing, like there is like properties that we can understand with the way the universe rolls and the way like space-time and stuff like that. And so things, that's the reason why it could be it's everything follows an algorithm. And that's one of the theories that people like to, you know, point towards simulation, is that there's those things, you know. It's like
it would have to be a
everything
pretty
super
intense algorithm, because it's
something
which
everything
would have
moves
to be
accordingly
for what we live, you know.
Well, and that's what
I mean,
why they're saying.
I mean, even GTA has an intense algorithm, and it's still procedural, you know. It's
but that's what they're saying is like highly advanced civilization. That's the reason why. Well, if we can fit Earth into a video game, and we can fit space, but how far in space can we fit? Can we afford another life, another Earth in like the Andromeda galaxy? No, we can't really afford that. You know, we'll just fit space for now. We can't have any other aliens because that costs too much. It'll be too much to render, and that's one of the things too. They're saying it's just like the fact that we are so lonely is that maybe we are in a simulation and we're kind of limited by you know, speed of light kind of thing to get anything that would be plausible. That life could even live on.
In a simulation, if it was technology, there'd be more fuck ups though. I know that in the Matrix, there's glitches in the Matrix, the fucking deja vu, the cats, bullshit.
Yeah, or people like vampires and ghosts and stuff like that. Well, that's also a thing that people explain. I don't personally say like I've seen any like actual like ghosts and crazy. I don't know.
Why
I
can't
don't
the
fucking know.
atrocities that happen day to day be the glitches in the Matrix, like people murdering people,
Well,
mass shootings?
that would be human nature acting as human nature.
Yeah, but how
And
do you know
so-
human nature acting as human nature in that evil sense is glitching, and
Well,
that's
you
what
think
causes
that our
that?
simulation
when you
is
say
supposed to be a
what's evil
dystopian
about that-
society?
What was
Yeah,
that, Mike?
You
The
think our
first Matrix
simulation is
was
supposed to be a
heaven.
dystopian society and all the fuck ups are just glitches?
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Well,
Because
Casey,
isn't that what
the
everyone
Matrix,
basically wants to achieve?
the first Matrix was
I don't
too
know.
perfect.
Yeah,
first
in
Matrix
in
had
the
no
in the
mass
Matrix,
shootings.
yeah, they have multiple matrices, but they kept crashing because people didn't believe it. They kept waking up
The human brain,
because it
but
was
then
too perfect.
yeah, but
that's
then
the
again,
Matrix.
that's also like I guess like human error needs human error. Like we have to have.
Well,
Because
you have to have the
I'm not
bad with the
Buddhist. I'm
good.
not Buddhist, but I'm gonna bring to the point like what's pleasure if you don't understand pain, and so you have to have
Yeah.
some suffrage to understand what's not suffrage, and it needs that stimulation. The human brain does need
You
stimulation.
need contrast.
So, yeah, you need contrast. Yeah,
you need something
um,
to compare to,
yeah.
or
'cause-
or you
yeah.
won't
And
believe.
so it's really difficult in that sense. I think what people shouldn't try to figure out like what if we are living in a simulation, but what would be the purpose of it would be the greatest question. There's no way to disprove. There's no way
and
to
who's
prove.
to say say death is the end of the simulation? You wake up or whatever. It's just the next beginning.
Yeah.
Who knows that next beginning is really that fucking great? I mean, if it's anything like the Matrix, that would suck.
Yeah.
Yeah, or what if it's worse than the Matrix?
That's a
You
fucking
wake
Like,
up.
Imagine
Making a
the
bunch of
fucking
fluids.
mass fucking suicides that would happen if science actually found that
No,
we live in a
exactly.
simulation.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
and but
that's
yeah,
exactly.
there'd be those people who'd be like me, who'd be like, I don't fucking know. I think this is okay. What
Literally
if shit
what I
out
was
there
saying.
sucks?
Yeah, yeah.
I
If-
think I might
if-
just wait.
Exactly. That's what I was saying earlier. Is like it would literally be a GTA lobby. If people understood what they lived in was a lie, it would be a GTA lobby. People would there would be no morals, all thrown out the window. People would just be killing, slaying, anything, and people would just
too. That would
I don't know.
if people knew that this
if
wasn't
there was
the real world.
If they knew that there was no consequences, they did this stuff, and then if they got
Yeah.
into shit, they just killed
This
themselves.
not being the
into-
real world does not mean that there's no consequences, though, because then
Well,
again, you're
yeah.
still without the point of the simulation. So what if the
point
simulation
of the
is a test
simulation.
to see how
You,
you,
oh, you
react,
get out,
and then you
get out of the
you're in
simulation. They're
fucking-
like, well,
And then
you're a
it's
piece of
Bible.
shit. We're gonna march
and
you
then
out
it's
back.
head,
put a
and then
bullet in
it's
your head.
God, and then it's God's like, did you guys fuck a lot of prostitutes while you're in there? You gotta do some blow. You guys listen to metal. You guys worship Satan.
Hey,
Or did you listen? Or did
doing
you
blow is
listen
just
to
fun.
good?
No.
Or did you listen to some gospel? Okay. And you gave $1 to the homeless man on the street. But
I would feel like a
Children
total
attend
fool
your church.
if I got pulled out of a simulation
And-
and be like, okay, how do you feel about Jesus in the church?
Oh,
I'm just like-
Jesus, dude, that would be.
I'm just,
fun.
and then you're like, because they don't ask if you.
I'd be like, well, I'm Jewish, so I fucked up.
and there's no hints in their face of whether they're religious or not. You go,
and
fuck, what
God's
do I
like,
say?
your character was built Jewish. You were
Just, I
created
mean,
Jewish.
they are.
You're supposed to turn the other leaf.
Wrong answer, buddy.
You just picked all the wrong dialogue, bro.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna.
You chose
I'm
all
just
the
gonna go ahead
wrong
and send you.
dialogue options. Bro.
Yeah, dude. I'm just gonna go ahead
We
and send
didn't
you to hell.
write. You guys wrote you guys made the Hebrew. We didn't originally write this game in Hebrew. You guys did that.
Sorry, I think my game got translated wrong, but
All that bruch.
Just could you imagine that though, like living your life and like having all the made up religions in the Matrix or whatever simulation you're in, and then you
Yeah.
get pulled out and they believe in like, I don't know, rabbits. I don't fucking know, and you're just like, huh?
Yeah.
And
What
that
would
is
the
like
one,
It's
they
interesting.
judge you
what would
solely
be
on that.
the reason?
all of the white one.
What do you guys think? What do you guys think would be some possible reasons for why a simulation would be made?
So, like I said earlier,
when
a
this
video
can be-
game.
Gathering
like
data,
Roy,
honestly,
like-
gathering data.
gathering data,
Figuring
and
out
then-
more about the human psyche and trying to write algorithms to predict human behavior for probably war, honestly, because that's what it seems like would be used for. Because people
Yeah,
are
That's what's
fucking
in our
yeah.
assholes.
paradigm, though. That's how we understand things. is
Yeah,
that, like,
that's how-
technology
but, like, if it-
advances because of war.
Yeah.
I don't-
And, might
But
not
I
be
would
that way.
I would think it
Psyche?
would be used to just try to understand human psyche on a
I don't
level
know psyche,
to where you can graph it and predict it.
Maybe.
Okay, that's
I don't know. I don't know
Like,
psyche because I think we'll get
if
to
you,
the point
if you
where
had
like
so
biology.
much data containing lives of millions of people their entire lives, and you were able to graph that and figure out the most likely things that are happening,
Yeah.
which is what
So
all
data
the fucking
for
tech.
predicting human behavior. That is
Yeah,
definitely
exactly.
a theory.
Yeah.
Okay.
That just seems like the most logical to me because, at least in the way we perceive it, I mean, big companies are doing that right now.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But
but
what
it's
if they're-
for a
information.
long time?
What
too.
if we just create simulations
Facebook
just
spills information all the
because
time.
we're stuck on a problem. Like say that like the people who created our simulation, they're stuck on a problem. They can't figure it out.
Oh,
So they create a world to try to
Yeah,
figure out
yeah.
that
Well, the
problem
whole
so they can
thing-
solve it
hoping
themselves.
that a random genius
No.
that lives his whole lifetime in a minute will figure
I
out the
think-
problem for them.
No,
Something like
yeah,
that.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows?
Just
Because-
running thousands of simulations on how to
Yeah, it would
possibly
have to be.
solve a
It
problem.
would have to be thousands of simulations.
Millions.
It would have to be.
Isn't
it would
that
have
what
to
we
be
do
a
when we
thing
type
of
into any question into fucking Google?
alternate universes?
Well, yeah,
alternate
they.
universes
I mean,
being
they
multiple
do that
simulations
with
of what
fucking
if
football
scenarios.
games for fucking betting
What if
in
scenarios.
Vegas. So it's like, why the fuck wouldn't they do that?
But
You-
at the
you
in
know.
the same token, if we are living in the simulation, I think it would be impossible for people to time travel back in the past. They wouldn't. If we're living in a simulation, people wouldn't go back in time. I don't
Yeah,
think it would.
because if you're trying to gather data, that's
would make no
abstract. It would
It
be.
wouldn't. It
No,
wouldn't
I
be
think
like-
there's two
it
options.
wouldn't be
Unless,
even going
unless
back
they
in
were
time.
trying to figure out ways to change time and they use that data for that.
Well,
I don't think
time
so,
doesn't
because
exist though.
I
There's
think-
like
I
there's a
think-
linear
But
data that's been taken down, so you just go
I
back
think-
to an earlier point of the sheet to read
No.
that data, and that's
Yeah,
time
but
travel.
Exactly.
say in the future with where they created
Two
a
things.
simulation, they have time travel. They make the simulation to see what
well,
things
I
they
think there's
could
two things. There's either
change
time
to
travel's
affect it in certain
possible
ways. They
or
run the simulation
I don't
that
think
way.
there's both. I don't think there's
Well-
both. I think we're either
I can
like
see time
travel's
travel
possible.
definitely existing, especially if there is simulation. Because it would
I
have
think
a
it's one or
perfect
the
reason
other.
to do it. It'd have a
My phone's
foolproof
gonna die soon.
an almost foolproof, but not necessarily, but at least a tester to run stuff on before you actually go change events, because you don't want to go change an event and then be stuck.
Well, I think
But never being
so.
able to change it again in
so
case you fucked it
The
up.
whole simulation thing. So, our lifetime is summed up like less than like it's like a what would probably be I can't really say, I don't know the terms, like a quantum of a second. Our lifetime, a whole human being's lifetime up to whoever simulates us is probably less than a quantum of a second kind of thing, if that's a real term. So tiny,
I
it's
think
not
quantum
it's
just
not immeasurable.
describes time, dude.
A fraction of a
and
second.
So it's like so small. It's like, hey, I created this thing. I created this little ball. It simulates it, and it's gone. 2 seconds. It's gone.
I'll be right
Instantly.
back.
They make
I'm
it, it's
pissed.
gone, right? And it's like, oh, this is what human beings came up with. In this time frame, this is what they came up with. I don't think that time travel would be possible to go into that because you wouldn't need time travel. You wouldn't need time travel if you could simulate. You wouldn't need to. If we were that project, you wouldn't need them both. It's either one or the other. Because you would time travel to figure out how shit went, or you would simulate and not need the time travel portion.
What if time travel was more or
Two
less
factions
like?
Because
They're
what we're
pulling
doing,
up-
what we're doing is,
Matthew. But Matthew, what if like in the simulation they pull up, like, so time travel, they just pull up a file like say 2010, and they just fucking rewind it, just scrubbing through it just to see some shit, and that's
and
them
people
time traveling.
traveled.
And then like they're like, oh, I didn't like this. Let me make a little cut right here, and then that's where the Mandela effect comes in.
But it's like the whole thing is like, if you can do it, why would you need to do it? Kinda
Well,
thing.
yeah, but I'm just
It's like it comes to the point where it's like
he's doing a school
gets to-
project, and
well,
he's like, oh, I didn't like that
you
fucking
have to
cut.
get to the point where stops becoming self-projection of sci-fi to real, like being realistic. To at what point is this technology even useful? If you already have the information, don't do it. It's like lightsabers in Star Wars. It's like, it's pretty dope, but if I know anything about biochemical warfare and we can travel light years away, I'm gonna create a small little virus that's gonna disable Count Dooku, and we'll just take him in because it's easy. It's that
Hold
easy.
on, you guys talk
Technology's
about
that
Star
good.
Wars?
Sorry.
That becomes a problem for
Sci-fi
simulation
fake.
theories.
All
It
arguments
just
that-
got it just got brought up,
Sci-fi
Mike.
Any,
Sorry.
If
All
any advanced-
sci-fi is fake.
You bring up Star Wars
If-
when I'm in the bathroom,
Sorry.
you fucks.
if,
My
if
bad.
any
All sci-fi is
advanced,
fake.
Yeah, we've
If
been
any
talking about it the
advanced
whole time. bud.
civilization learns to simulate reality, we'd be more likely not to live in simulation because the simulated entities would eventually learn to do the same and create a string of simulations all the way down.
Yeah, it would be. Well, yeah, that's
Not
the whole thing with the
not if
Teenyverse.
you just not if you
Teenyverse.
change the code
I've been
or
over
put
here
in
reading
a variation
I've been
each
over
time.
here reading mathematicians saying that they're like mathematicians saying that simulation theory is mathematicians debunking simulation theory. I've just been going through
Well,
random
it's
like people that are
Well, simulation is just advanced statistics,
I just
so
thought
it's
that
like
was
it will change on
All they're
ungodly
saying,
amount of
literally-
levels.
Okay,
or
you
there's
know,
an
but-
alien just watching shit and they're like, these guys are getting too
Well,
close to the truth.
okay,
Let's make
no,
up
'cause,
something.
okay,
They had that
two
Matrix
things.
movie.
Well,
Let's let them
what
ride on
majority-
And now
that.
you just strung in Casey. No.
No, okay. So what
Right
majority
on.
think people? So what majority people see our simulation theory is. Majority think people think it's a video game. Everything plays out. Everyone's watching shit. Realistically, what a simulation theory would be is we're a calculator. It's like you hit 2 + 2 on the dial. It happens instantly, but within the system of the calculator, everything happens like.
I'd probably go more for a random number generator than a
Yeah,
calculator.
random number. It's like they're like there's a path it
Closer
takes,
to
but it happens
D20,
quickly.
This
Yeah.
guy said,
And
I
then-
can make a
and
model of
we're-
atoms moving around, but it actually requires entire computers, which are all made of trillions of atoms, to make that simulation.
It would be
and so you
advanced
actually
alien
wind up
races,
with a
but so
space
it
problem
wouldn't really
that
be
you can't
like
simulate as much as you have reality. And so even if you could make a perfect simulation of reality, it would have to be
It
a
would
smaller
still dwarf
reality
it,
than what you're
yeah.
simulating it with.
well, exactly. We're not saying we would ever create a simulation in our time of our reality. It's like how our best graphics are like PlayStation 5, fucking the new Xbox. Those are our best graphics, and we're only gonna get as real as I don't know.
You see what the
It's-
Hubble fucking just pulled up?
We can only do so much.
Oh, the center of the universe, the super black hole.
Yeah, you
Essentially-
see that photo
yeah,
that they pulled up?
essentially it's
How
like-
it looks
used-
shitty.
I
It's
heard
just a
about it.
red
I haven't
donut.
seen it. I haven't-
It's just a
Hold on.
fucked up
Like,
red
what is
donut,
this
dude.
You
about?
guys ever been
Not
to Krispy
impressed.
Kreme? You guys ever seen their pictures online? That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
No, is this like? Hold on. How revolutionary is this, Casey? Because this.
I'll
sounds
send you a
interesting.
picture right now. Hold on.
Okay.
As far as imaging goes, like I mean, it's a big
I'm sure
thing
the-
for people who are. I
I'm
mean,
sure,
being
I'm
able
sure
to
the
get
image probably doesn't look that great, but this sounds pretty revolutionary. In middle of the universe, or at least middle when they. Took
the
it.
center of our galaxy of the Milky
center.
Way.
Yeah, but-
Okay, center of our galaxy. That's
If we're living in a simulation, we probably shouldn't do any more podcasts about shit because it's all fake, anyways.
It's all bullshit.
It's
Welcome
all
to
bullshit
welcome to the
anyways.
fucking the
You guys wanna
simulation.
talk-
The
you guys
piece
wanna
of
talk
shit
about
doesn't
ghosts?
matter
You
simulation
guys want
podcast.
to talk about ghosts and all that? It's just a poor fucking simulation. None of it's real. You guys want to talk about hauntings?
Yeah.
They're not real ghosts. They're just digital fucking whatever.
And for everybody that is actually believing this motherfucker, have fun with your existential crisis, and you're welcome. No.
If anybody's just like,
So
yeah, dude, no ghosts.
would-
None of it exists, man. It's just all part of the grand scheme of the code. The
Oh, that's a
code.
great
I'd
thing
like
to say in a
to-
conspiracy pod.
Or an error.
podcast.
I think I'd like to
Grand scheme of the
explore.
code. All hail the mighty
Yeah,
code.
Nate.
0, 0,
I'd like to
1, 2,
explore
3, J.
another reason. So like so far we've come across like a couple of reasons for why there would be a simulation. I think further discussing those might be a little fun.
Hey, you've
One that
leveled
I
up
could think
too
of-
much in a simulation for you to have an opinion. Okay.
Fuck. Dude, but so one reason that I could imagine too is like how Mike mentioned earlier that like the human brain needs stimulation, right? So say we've gotten to a point where
It's not just the
basically
brain, buddy boy. No.
existence. Oh, it's not just the brain. The pecker needs some attention as well.
I'm
But,
sorry. Continue.
So if
I
we've
like
gotten
three-
to a sort of point
3%.
where like say the entire world's depleted of resources, right? The entire world's depleted of resources. The sky is entirely smogged out and scummed out. There's no fucking like clean water anymore, anything like that.
The
Like
Matrix kind of thing.
Yeah. the
so
Matrix.
imagining a Matrix scenario, but rather than the machines controlling us to use us for energy, we are just living inside of a simulation through the last moments that
Like
we get to
hibernation
live.
pods,
We're
right?
dying. We're dying. We're
Look,
hooked up
that's-
to the machines.
That's a good one.
We're hooked
That is
up to the
a fucking
machines.
Good one.
Yeah, listen, we're hooked
Oh
up
my
to the
God.
machines, and we are dying. We're disappearing, but because of the ability for like time dilation, which is like an experience that people can have, like when you have anxiety
like
to
Interstellar
a certain
or-
amount, you have time dilation. Moments feel like much longer.
Yeah.
And then when you're on LSD or DMT or some shit like that, like time is fucking stretched the way the fuck out. Like
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
crazy.
yeah.
So imagine an experience like that, like condensed down into a simulation, and like rather than you like projecting like kind of a realistic world, it's whatever your mind would imagine the realistic world being, you know?
So-
some
And
people are being
that could
attacked
explain
that.
the pitiful shit we live
We've
Yeah.
all, guys,
There's
we have all
there's
played
actually
Sim
like
City.
a kind
we
of
have all
thing
had
like
Godzilla attack our city.
yeah.
That's how we
There's
should
a
go
kind
out.
of thing like that in an episode of Doctor Who, where one of the characters actually gets put into an alternate timeline which moves faster because it's used as like a sick bay thing where people die in a day from sickness, but in this certain reality they're actually able to live that day in a span of a whole lifetime, so their families can watch them.
I think that Doctor Who is
And-
one of the things that the simulation had created next to Ebola and E. coli. I'm just
No, but I actually think that'd be like a really good one, just like a kind of stasis chamber type
of all,
thing that lets
yeah.
you
British
live out a
people-
lifetime
British people are
in
a
your
blight
mind
on
instead of
humanity.
just dying in a day.
Dude, I don't agree with British people
Hey,
because they
that's-
add
that's a pretty
R's
good
where
one,
A's
though.
are. They
Thank you.
can't say asthma. They have to say asthmar. Like you
Could
can't
you ima-
you can't
could you
add
imagine
R's
that,
at
though?
the end
But
of
with-
A's.
With that simulation,
Disgusting.
if you have that simulation, are people's children's then just children that got shoved in and got rearranged to certain people, or are they just like WandaVision created for that?
Has anybody ever
I
heard of-
imagine would
has
be a
anybody ever heard-
solipsistic thing. It wouldn't be a thing that we are sharing. It'd be individual reality.
Okay, so every reality is okay.
Has anybody ever
So whoever's
like,
in that reality is just in your brain.
Has anybody ever read
And that's a
Gone?
lot less processing power too, because it's just
Oh,
like
yeah.
a reflection of only the things that you could see around you at any given moment.
Yeah,
anybody
essentially
ever-
they're probably pumping your brain with a bunch of dope ass psychedelics and just letting you go.
Just that you have a
Has anybody
POV
ever,
point of view.
Has anybody ever read Gantz before? The manga?
No, I've heard it's hella
Uh,
good
nah.
though.
Yeah, it is hella good. It's weird as fuck.
What is
but
it,
it's
Joseph?
It's called Gantz or Gantz. It's Gantz. So it's like these people, they die, they come, this ball brings them back to life. Basically, they fight aliens, they get points, they get like skills, whatever. It's almost like battle royale shit in a way. But it turns out like all this shit is from this ancient alien whatever thing that they can just bring people back because they discovered a way to do it, but they don't know how it's exactly done. They see that people when they die turn to data, they disappear and then they come back. It's basically like reincarnation, but everybody's data. They disappear, come back. So you're best friends with somebody, you die, your data goes to this place, and then it gets reborn back into things. You become that person's kid or fucking some shit, nephew, niece. Like you're always still with like the bonds. I was just thinking of that if like simulation theory was a thing, that it's like we just keep living to the same simulation over and over again. If somebody dies, their data comes back as somebody else. Like, oh, my grandpa died, and then 5 years later I had a kid. Oh, that data just got fucking it just got reused into being my kid or some shit.
Well, there have been reports of
Yeah, of
Like
like
this-
kids remembering like past lives and shit.
yeah, like
that.
this
They
like
start
this
talking
one
about-
kid. This one kid said that he got murdered, how he got murdered, where his body was buried,
Yeah,
and
then
who
they
did
find
it. And
Yeah,
then they went to the guy's house,
That also
dug
goes
up the
into
body.
thing
The
with-
guy admitted to
Rehash
everything.
data.
yeah,
and
Just
then
like rehash data. It's like we're just gonna use the same data, but just like just
That
alter
also-
it slightly. And just,
yeah,
like,
that
bring
also
it
goes
back.
into that one like thing that people say was like birthmarks that you have are past wounds.
yeah.
You know.
In which case, I got a lot of those fuckers. It's like,
Oh, if we're
Most-
take-
mostly
I got
on his
underneath
ass.
my ball sack. So who the fuck
Well,
stabbed
your
me underneath my
chromosomes.
nut sack?
It's
I don't know,
your
like-
DNA actually stores a lot of data. Your DNA stores a lot of
Well, yeah,
data.
Dana.
There's like
Okay.
there's like mice and stuff that's like that can store trauma in their
dude,
DNA.
you legit carry
It's like
on.
you could train it. You could
You
train a
legit
mouse
create
to go
Pokemon.
like right in a maze every time,
Dude,
and every time he goes right in
Pokemon.
the maze for the cheese, he gets his hand chopped off. Every time, do about 5 times, have a baby. Each baby from every generation. Eventually, they stop going right through the maze, and they
The same thing
know
with
that physical
Pokemon.
trauma.
When you play Pokemon, two
I
different
don't think
like things that have a
past life is
nature.
real, but
They
I
have a
think it's
kid, and then it
all
has one of the. It's
DNA-based.
chances are it has one of the natures of the parents, right? Like it's just yeah, like everything gets passed on. Like DNA even has emotional fucking shit attached to it. Like it's like dad, he's irritated by loud noises and he gets fucking irritated, whatever. I'm the same way. I hear high pitched noises and I fucking yell at people.
Or
Like,
or is
I
that just because when your dad heard a high pitched noise, he beat you, and so now you
Yeah.
hate high pitched
Or he
noise?
shows a thumb at my butt, but whatever.
Anything to get them scream louder.
We are the band.
Can
Yeah,
any of you
so-
guys think of any other reasons for simulation?
Hey Nate, we can't hear you. I don't know if you're muted.
Oh, I muted myself. I did.
Um,
I was saying a bunch of racist shit, so I just like I turned it off.
you're just spitballing racist shit in the corner.
He's like, how can I make this fit in the show?
I honestly think that the coolest thing is the ancestral simulation thing. That like honestly, they're just like running old history things.
Well, that's
Like
all
the
been like
Animus?
they were running
Like
a
Assassin's
simulation.
Yeah, like the Animus and Assassin's Creed. Like I like that whole
That's pretty-
theory of things.
The
That's a pretty
Animus?
That
cool
they're just
theory.
running. They're just running whatever and seeing what
Yeah,
people
dude, in
do
Assassin's
and
Creed,
that thing.
you get a
Scientific
tube up your ass,
purposes.
and it
Because
really
I just other than entertainment, because I've
drains your
literally toyed with
stamina,
this
but
idea for a
gives you
cool
extra health.
It's
story
hard to
of like
think
a
of-
dying planet. Of
Yeah.
like a dying planet, and that like an alien race comes and for entertainment purposes they create this whole world and fucking implement people from our planet into it. I thought that would make like for a good like comic book or a fucking story
I mean,
or something.
South Park did it, but
Maybe.
yeah.
But yeah, but I'm just saying like that's all I can think of is saying things like that other than entertainment purposes. I don't see what the purpose is other than for history
think
purposes.
We've
And
hit the life support, and data gathering, and one other one, I believe.
I think the life support thing is very. It is
That's
what do
very
you call it?
probable.
It's also a very I don't
Doesn't
know.
make
Me being a pessimist like I don't feel like
Dark?
anybody cares that much to let us fucking
Are you kidding me?
live out.
Humanity
happy.
does a lot of great things when it's for just humanitarian.
Humanity is grimy as
shit.
fuck.
Well, in
I-
that
It's
in
all
that
the rest
people
of
in
the
your
shit that they
community-
do bad.
People that aren't on a high fucking class scale do good things for people.
Humanity
People on
doesn't
our
do-
scale, people that are high class, like, do you think fucking we'll just bring it back to Trump again. Do you think he gives a fuck? Whatever. It's like, no, dude, I'm the 1%. You're
Well,
fucking whatever. I don't even know your name. You're
I
an
will
ant
say
to me.
this for the world, humanity does great things
For people in their
it-
own class
in certain
system,
parts.
you
in
think
the
a rich
it-
person
at
does
certain-
good things for a
no,
fucking poor
in
person?
certain times in the world. Right now, we're not, because when we're led by
Well,
like
there's a lot of
capitalism-
great things that
capitalism,
happens. It's just
yeah,
there's a lot of bad things
not
that
during
happen all the
capitalism.
time.
Yeah, but who's
or,
doing
like during
them?
we did a lot of great things in the past right now, but then when it comes to capitalism, it comes to lobbyists, it's like what's
Dude,
gonna make
all
more
the
money.
shit that's going on in
I
Ukraine
wouldn't
right
say
now,
it's capitalism. I'd say it's
making
government
fucking
involved.
Sony the
Nobody
best
gives a
thing.
nobody gives
Yeah.
a fuck about what's going on. Like so many people are dying in
just
Ukraine,
saying.
and all people care
Yeah.
about is whether or not Amber Heard
Well-
is the fucking victim or the predator of Johnny Depp. Like,
Yeah,
we don't
right,
give a
guys,
fuck
guys,
about
here's
anything
a
that
poll.
happens.
It's pronounced
outside
Amber
of our
Turd.
fucking-
Yeah,
Yeah.
what's more important? Amber Heard and Johnny Depp,
Or fucking everybody dying in
Sony
No, but
or
like-
desalinating water. I know.
Here's the thing
Yeah.
with that, Matt. I wouldn't
It's
Like,
think
desalinating
that's the
water.
world right now.
You
It's
say,
like,
you
Matt,
say
that's
that
the
people
world.
care, like
Human beings do
people
great
do.
things.
people do care. There are certain people that do care, and I
they
wouldn't
care
blame
more
straight
whether or not
capitalism
you use the right.
over the
they care
bad
more
things.
like
I
if
would
you-
blame most
they care.
shadow organizations and probably governments and
They care more-
for that. But like the
Okay, you got
you know
shadow
the Coke
organizations-
machines that we have in restaurants now, where you can choose the different flavors and all that. That was originally made to filter water, and in fact, Coke bought that from the guy who made it. And for every Coke one that was built,
people
they
don't
built
do
one that
good
filtered
things
water
in
and sent it to
humanity. They wanna
Africa.
keep on.
There's a lot of
Um,
great things that are like that are built like
Yeah,
that. We
but,
just
like,
don't hear about
America-
it because
okay,
people
America's
don't care
garbage as fuck
to hear
anyway.
about
like
it.
shit like that
Dude,
doesn't do enough.
Other outside of fucking government, whatever, you know what America does on their pastime? They care whether or not somebody hurt their feelings or use the right pronouns. We don't give a fuck about people dying.
Well,
in
you
other
hurt my
countries.
feelings. No.
We don't.
the
We
shit-
don't give a
the
shit
shit
about
is
what people
literal
are doing in other
Tesla
countries.
effect.
We give a
It's-
fuck
it's
whether or
literal-
not you asked me if I had a vagina or not. Like that's, and I'm not saying
yeah.
anything about like fucking like LGBT whatever. But it's like the fact is like we're in our own little bubble. We care more about our feelings than we care about human lives.
Yeah, no,
Like
that's
you can
true.
tell me
I
right now,
I'd
somebody
say
was
some,
raped-
maybe
somebody
some
was
people,
raped
but
and
not
whatever.
most
It's like
people.
that's sad, but I didn't know him.
Well,
But that's
the whole-
most
the
people.
justice
That's
thing,
cancel
in a third
culture.
world
Like that.
country, you don't
people
care
isn't
about
going-
what you're
that's-
you
that's
don't care about what you're
fucking
fed.
lie.
I don't know. That's just lack of
You're
empathy,
fed
and
whatever
like
the-
not everybody has that.
But most people do.
I
That's
wouldn't
why they have
even. I wouldn't
fucking-
even say a majority has that. I'd say
How
that's
many
a
people?
very few.
How
They're
many
just
people
loud.
still talk?
'cause
How many
they're
people do you know
assholes.
talking about like the Ukraine shit and Russia and all that? How many people are more concerned about that than Will Smith smacking Chris Rock or
Okay,
Johnny
these aren't-
Depp fucking? No, these
The
are
reason
like
I-
these,
the
this is
reason I
what
can
they
say that the
are.
Ukraine
We're
stuff and-
entertained by shit that's happening around
That's
us.
how we know it's a simulation. Real life.
The only
Will
thing we
Smith would
give a
never
fuck,
leave his
the only
seat.
thing we give a fuck about the
Yeah.
Ukraine and Russian
No,
thing is the
God.
gas prices. Goddamn gas prices.
No, but
What
I'd
the
say
fuck, whatever.
as
Like,
far as the
we're more
Ukraine-Russia
concerned-
thing, the reason
Yeah,
why
just to
most
get
people are
political
kind of
quick.
getting out of it is because there's not a lot of things that most people feel like they can do. Sure, they can donate money, do whatever.
Yeah,
that,
but
it's
these
like,
things that they put their energy into are fucking pointless.
yeah,
They
but
can
I'm
do
talking
things-
like on just a regular level, the
Um,
random people that you meet
yeah, but
every
I'm
day
saying
that are
if
in the
everything's
same
a
position as
simulation,
you.
why wouldn't
They're
you
not
put
all
yourself into
assholes. I
something
mean-
else?
Guys,
It's
let's
because they're
figure out a closure
NPCs,
for
dude.
this-
What are they gonna do?
NPCs, exactly. Guys, let's figure out a closure for this.
Yeah,
I think it's all fucking
yeah, it's
stupid.
almost
I think
11.
celebrity shit is stupid. I have like coworkers
Sorry.
that sit there and just listen. I'm
Casey,
just saying
you gotta close.
they listen to that law, like the whole Johnny Depp and Amber Heard thing, and it's like, who gives a
Turd.
fuck? There's nothing we can do with that except for sign petitions. Who gives
It's
a fuck?
distracting, and as someone who's using
Yeah,
a lot of
it's like-
distractions right now,
yeah,
I'm kind of enjoying it.
Yeah. it's
Yeah,
like
well, I'm
politics
just
is
saying, it's like
crazy.
people aren't always out for whatever. People like to be entertained more than they fucking
Uh,
have remorse.
Exactly. Casey's
I feel people have remorse, but it's just they feel like
Yeah.
they need to be entertained because everybody's has their
Yeah,
own
but I
shit
mean,
going
come
on.
from me and Matthew know this
Hey,
shit
you
fucking
can
join
from
us early
whatever.
on
People
our
don't
next
care
one.
about misery; they care about
Yeah. I'm
So
down.
we could.
Yes,
start
you
pressure.
fucking
my
did
man.
great. I'm usually
Sounds good.
more a
I
bit
know. I
more.
feel like
man.
there's like a whole like at the beginning part where everybody talks about things. before
I'm
they
usually a
even
bit
do it.
more cooperative, but
Oh.
I'm just not feeling it lately.
Yeah, things are. It's kind of. It seemed a little
I-
bit.
I've-
like
I've had a
last
tough-
I was
episode.
bringing
I've
up
had a
point
tough
to the
month,
thing
so.
that people weren't
Yeah,
being.
Mike's
the
had a
whole-
pretty tough month.
Hey, I was trying to
What's
say
going
that
on?
like the whole whatever being like whatever like the merciful thing, it doesn't make any sense to me because like everything in
I-
like human history is plagued by fucking miserable shit. That
I
we
feel
live
like
in a
peop-
bubble, we can choose what we whatever.
Yeah.
People
If we
die
do live in
miserable
a
as
simulation and people actually do believe that everybody is fully terrible, not just the ones that are trying to pull one over on you or the elite that are trying to blind you,
fuck. A lot of people
then
don't
that's
die
a
in
fucked up.
utopian
Then that's a
thing.
fucked up simulation. But I really do have a feeling that most people's peers, the people that are in the same situation as them,
Well, again, this
You
this
can at-
whole
you can at
concept
least-
contradicts everything,
Let's just
whatever.
say,
Because
we're all
we're
in the
all
same
pro
boat, except we
fucking
don't call it a boat.
simulation.
We call it a fake taxi. We're all
Well,
getting
let's
fucked.
let me. Okay, so
Guys, okay.
they say-
close out
they say-
for us.
they say either mind gives rise to matter or matter gives rise to mind. Only one can exist. So let's go around the circle. Matthew, what do you think? Does mind give rise to matter or does matter give rise to mind?
Hold on. You want to skip me and just come back to? Hold on.
I
Can you say that again?
got this.
Wait.
I feel
reset because I didn't
I'll-
know what we're
Give the
doing.
fuck
I'll-
a second.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
I
let me-
feel like I
Listen,
feel like
say
matter
that
gives
again.
rise to.
Either mind gives rise to matter or matter gives rise to mind. Only one can exist. What do you think?
You want me to go?
Well, whoever. I don't give a fuck.
Ready, Mike?
For
Go.
me, I feel like matter gives rise to mind because
use
our
my
mind
Uno
can
card.
perceive so much stuff that's, at least for crazy people, not actually there. There's not matter there, or it's invisible matter. I don't know, but matter really does give rise to mind because if we had nothing to perceive, then our mind's not going to do shit.
I've met
We need
crazy
something
people that can
tangible
draw
to
like a
touch,
motherfucker.
see, taste, smell, hear, to actually get our mind moving. You know, even if you go to sleep, your mind's working in a dream. If you fall asleep listening to that music, you'll wake up and be like, wait, I remember that album as I was sleeping. I remember hearing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just a weird thing. Your mind perceives stuff only if it's actually there, in my opinion.
All right.
So,
What about
matter?
who wants to go
So,
next?
I guess I can go next. Sorry, my phone shut off. So the whole thing when it comes to matter and mind kind of thing, and so a mind is a product of matter in the sense that your consciousness, your very mind, is actually a product of matter and brain waves and stuff like that. that could be influenced easily. It's one of my biggest problems with religion, is you can think of someone sinless, someone that's very kind and very nice. They can get into a car wreck and all of a sudden they're a complete asshole because their brain changes, the chemistry changes because their brain is different. It's like someone could be completely conscious. They drink a lot of alcohol. They're passed out and they're gone, type thing. So it's like a conscious is it's more matter than it is mind. Your mind's a product of matter because physical influences can influence that. So, gonna pass it over.
All right, Joseph, what do you think?
My opinion apparently doesn't matter here, so we can skip on.
That's your mind,
no,
bro.
Joseph.
He chose mind. He chose
No,
mind.
it was already made apparent that I'm apparently stupid and I don't know what I'm talking about. So,
Oh, come on, man.
what?
No, don't.
No.
We were just. Casey was just joking around. Casey, both you and Casey talk a lot of shit. Don't talk like that.
No, it's fine. Y'all
better
pass it
kiss
on.
and make out.
This will probably be my last one, anyways.
Better be beer, not podcast.
Both.
Not both.
Mind.
Joseph. You
That's
think
mine.
mine, Nate? Why
No,
mine?
I would love to say mind just to do the obverse of what everybody else is saying, but I do believe that mind comes from matter for sure. I don't know if there might be some self-reciprocating processes between mind and matter, like that matter spawns mind, but then mind can influence matter. I mean, of course it can.
There's
because
probably a
as
little of
thinking
that
beings,
for-
we do,
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know. Mind from matter.
Basically, what Nate's saying is hell, dude. If it was a simulation, it's like the matter was put that way on purpose. So, no, right?
Well, the simulation, that being the matter, because it is created, would be influencing our mind. But then, yes, if it was a simulation, our mind would influence the simulation being the matter, or I don't know. It's like a word problem. It's fucking stupid.
I believe matter gives rise to mind, because I believe there's a base universe out there somewhere. Whether that's us or not, I feel like there has to be some sort of like level to this. But yeah, I don't know.
Well, that's the fucking thing. Everybody's searching for fucking answers, and nobody knows what the right answers are. I think we're all just memories in a giant fucking space whale's mind.
And that might possibly be the truth.
Who's an author, and he creates stories, and then his stories come to life. And that whale's name is, I don't know, something
Jehovah.
ridiculous.
No.
His name is Ishmael.
Yeah.
Okay?
That dude, I don't know if you in the very first podcast, your very first line you say is like, "Well, I believe in Jehovah."
Yeah.
You know that, right, Joseph?
Yeah.
By the way, his mind is narrated by Mandela Freeman.
I see you trying to play the Mandela effect on people. You're trying to.
No, but
You're really pushing hard on that Mandela effect. Do we have a podcast like episode 4 Mandela effect?
Yeah.
Morgan Mandela.
It's
we got a time travel
on.
one. I know that.
It's
Nelson
in
Mandela,
July
aka
26th.
No, but Joseph, bro,
June
come
26th, I
on.
mean.
Mind or matter? What do you think?
I already told you. My opinion apparently doesn't matter.
No, it does fucking matter because we just listened to your whale stuff.
So
Come
it's
on.
mind.
Yeah, that's all bullshit.
Just mine?
maybe, who knows? Honestly, you can't debunk any fucking theory of anything because nobody knows fucking anything.
It's just
We
what you
know
think.
we're- Yeah,
So you're saying mind?
yeah, I believe.
Hey, mind your own
I believe the
business.
mind is the most powerful fucking tool. I believe nothing matters without your fucking mind. You think vegetables give a damn about anything? Vegetables are just fucking.
No mind.
Well, I know for a fact they don't because I fucked a couple and no,
I'm gonna tell you right now, like the worst.
and they didn't
fucking-
move at all.
Zucchinis.
What would be hell to
from
me is
zucchinis to the
becoming a
Veterans
vegetable and not just
Hospital.
being
I
put out
give
of
a
my
fuck.
Yes, baby, go watch it out there.
I'm sorry, my
Go watch it
Let's
out
get
there.
that soundbite from zucchinis to the veteran hospital. I don't give a fuck. I'm fucking vegetables.
Man, I'll be shut.
I get my greens.
You can act
my
like I'm
God.
outlandish because
So- What you guys say? We ended
think
there,
it's
or
radish.
that's a good fucking ending.
I don't know. Sounds about appropriate.
Yeah.
What's the podcast called? What's the podcast called?
Conspiracy
Conspiracy
Outpost.
Outpost.
Yeah.
We hope you
Okay.
enjoyed this episode of Conspiracy Outpost. You soulless sons of fucking bitches.
Yeah.
You mindless simulation NPC fucking blobs. You solipsistic black holes.
And may you forever drift
Just kidding, we love you.
mindlessly in a